If you've ever watched a movie and thought to yourself, man, these accents are terrible, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Thursday, November 20th, and the NVIDIA earnings are past us. NVIDIA trading up bigly here today, 195.50 in the pre-market, closed at 186.52 yesterday, up just about 5%, actually just shy of 5%. But we made it. NVIDIA saved the market, or did it? We will see how today shakes out. We do have some news to cover here. We're going to go over those NVIDIA earnings. We have our futures forward segment here today, which will be really interesting to see how the futures market and some of the other futures tickers end up trading here today, as well as NVIDIA. We're going to break it all down. We're going to trade. We're going to make some money here today, and we are going to have an awesome Thursday, the penultimate date of the weekend. We're going to enjoy it. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for November 20th, 2025, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your hump day. And if you participated in any way in the NVIDIA earnings, hopefully it was good for you, or as good for you as it was for the company. Man, there is a lot of bullishness out there after this report. Did NVIDIA save the market? Producer, we might have to run that poll at some point here today or something similar. Good to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Brian is first here today, despite his comment. Remember, the first designation goes to the first comment that I see. And if you're posting at 2 a.m. Eastern time, I'm not going to see it because I'm catching Z's. Brian, you are first here today. You are going to get that worm. Oops, I almost blocked you there, just trying to hide the comment. Sorry about that, buddy. All right, Big Dave, welcome back. Producer says, get wrecked, Burry. Well, we have something for that, don't we? Get wrecked, Michael Burry. Get wrecked. Those Burry puts, no bueno, it sounds like. You know, it's a shame he closed his fund, right? Because we won't be able to see if he covered. Just throwing that out there. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Zach, good morning. Welcome back. Cad Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Let's go. Indeed. Love the positivity. Keep spinning that forward. Marty, good morning. Good rainy day. I tell you what, it's been rainy and or overcast here pretty much all week. It absolutely feels like fall, and it is helping me get in the mood for Thanksgiving. So I will return that to you. Good and happy rainy day to you. The other Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Sean, good to see you again. As always, welcome back. In before the nuts, good morning. Sun-kissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Candy, good morning. Welcome back. Azrar, it's good to see you again. Kelly or two, good morning and welcome back. Catherine, good as always, welcome back. Big Bear Hug, good morning and welcome back. Neville and Crimp Biscuit, welcome back. Shane, welcome back. Yeah, so fine. Welcome back. Lombardo Trades, good morning and welcome back. Kenneth, good morning, welcome back. Blazed Rhino and Corey, welcome back. James, it's good to see you again. Our Luke, good morning, welcome back. Zabeth, good morning and welcome. Matthew, it's good to see you again. Good morning. Tyler says, good morning, everyone. How we feeling today about this pop? That's a real, Tyler, I think that you're asking the right question. In fact, if we revisit my prediction, I made a very specific prediction on NVIDIA's earnings. I said several things. I said it was going to be a double beat and raise. Check. Said that it was going to move less than the options implied. Check. Said that it was actually going to trade down. No check. But the day is not over. Let's see if we do get this pop to get sold. I'll be honest. Right now, I don't think so. I have no position for that. We'll see if that happens. That's definitely going to be something that I'm watching here today, though, without a doubt. Lost my spot there. Sorry about that. JJ, good morning. Uncle Dracula, good morning from Transylvania again. Good morning. And yes, Tyler, I am ready for the Bills game. Yes, I absolutely am ready for that. Durkis, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Look at Day Traders up before the sun comes up, out here slanging Solana leverage trades. We're going to start today off with a register ring for that one. Let's go. Graf, good morning. Welcome back. Johnny, good morning. Welcome back. Jim, good morning. It's good to see you. Bernhard, Hoot, and who else did I? Richard Judge. Good morning. Welcome back. Big Bees, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you again. Scott, good morning. Austin, good morning. Dive Deep, good morning. Day Trader says the like has been smashed. Please follow Day Trader's lead here and smash up that like. The earlier we get those likes, the more the algorithm is exploited. And I know y'all like to exploit algorithms, so let's get to it. Promo Carl, good morning. Welcome back. Brandy, good morning. Welcome back. Angelito, good morning. Welcome back. Blessed Trader, good to see you as always. Just passing through, good morning. Pretty Panda, good morning. Oh, in the Nordics, how's the weather out there? That is awesome. Hopefully you enjoy that. And Anita, good morning. Free Diddy tomorrow, LOL. But good morning and welcome back. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures bigly green here today. SPY futures up 1.31%, Dow futures up 0.68%, and the Nasdaq leading the way higher by 1.78%. Of course, this is all on the back of Nvidia's earnings yesterday. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. Information technology, communication services, and material stocks led the gains on Wednesday, while energy and utility stocks bucked the overall market trend and closed lower. U.S. stock futures rose on Thursday after Wednesday's advances. Futures of major benchmark indices were higher and are holding higher here today. Investors await September's jobs report, which is scheduled to be released today after the end of the record-long government shutdown last week. According to the FOMC minutes, which was released yesterday, Federal Reserve officials appear sharply divided on the future path of interest rates. There was a split among participants following their decision to lower the federal funds target range to 3.75% to 4%. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.13%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.60%. We do have some stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be the obvious one, the elephant in the room, NVIDIA. That rose 5.55% in the pre-market on Thursday after reporting better than expected third quarter financial results and issuing strong revenue forecasts for the current quarter. Now, it is worth noting here, NVIDIA is down from today's pre-market highs. Those pre-market highs were about 198.5. We're currently sitting at 196.25. So we're under those highs, but we are still holding higher here. Chart definitely looks bullish here this morning. The second stock on our list is going to be cybersecurity leader Palo Alto Networks, ticker PANW. That dropped 4.15% despite beating estimates, as its full-year guidance was revised to be just in line with analyst expectations. For the second quarter, in forecasted revenue between $2.57 billion and $2.59 billion, with adjusted EPS projected at 93 cents to 95 cents. Meanwhile, the Wall Street consensus calls for $2.58 billion in revenue and earnings of 93 cents per share. Supermicro Computer, ticker SMCI, is the next stock on our list here today. That gained 5.87% after the launch of integrated AI factory systems with NVIDIA's Blackwell technology. The next stock on our list here is going to be Walmart. Walmart was up 0.83% ahead of its earnings, expected to be released before the opening bell. Those earnings have been released now. Walmart closed yesterday at 161 and is currently sitting at 101.27. Now, Walmart reported adjusted EPS of 62 cents, which beat the 60-cent estimate, and sales of $179.5 billion beat the $177.429 billion estimate. The last stock on our list here is Intuit, ticker INTU, and that was 0.37% higher as analysts expected it to report earnings of $3.09 per share on revenue of $3.76 billion per share after the closing bell. All right, let's start here with the SPY chart. We'll also take a look at the NVIDIA chart. Then we'll dive into some insights from analysts, Here's our SPY chart. Now, this is pretty good. What we have here is we have a move above a previous all-time high breakout level, 667.34. That was one that we spent a lot of time talking about before we broke out from it and then used it as support. We also gapped above the 50-day moving average here today. We are still short of the 673 or 672.99 previous all-time high level that we also used as resistance and support. And then right above that, we actually have the trend line that originated. I should probably alter this trend line a little bit. I think I should probably change it to be something like this. There we go. That's what we'll look at from now on. I just want to make this trend line as accurate as possible. We have the 20-day moving average at 676.38. That's going to be the next spot up. And then this trend line, just kind of estimating it here, 682-ish. Those are going to be some of the upside levels if we do trade up here today. Otherwise, if we give up these gains from the NVIDIA earnings, the first thing that we're going to be looking at is going to be yesterday's close. If we go to an intraday chart, let's take a look and see what's going on. Right down here, about 662.63 is going to be yesterday's close. That would be a level here. And then furthermore, we would look towards this double bottom formation at about 659 if it continues to break down from there. All right, let's also take a quick look at the NVIDIA chart because that's the big story on everybody's mind. This is what it looks like on the daily. We had recently added some trend lines to this, and the gap here today, definitely a good one. We gapped above the upsloping trend line that originated on September 5th. We also gapped above the 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average, and it sure looks like we're going to be going for this round 200 number here today. We are only a stone's throw from that level as it is. For downside levels, I think you can absolutely use these moving averages as well as the trend line, that trend line value down there at 188-ish or thereabouts. This is what the chart looks like from inside. You can see we popped yesterday. It was interesting, too, because when this first came out, it sold back down a little bit. It actually took a little bit before it took the next leg up. But once it did, it held that all the way through the rest of the after-hour session and then holding it here through the pre-market session. So we'll see which direction this ends up going here today. If it does trade up, I think one of the things we'll do is we'll mark off this kind of sideways channel here. And if it breaks out or down and gives us a back test, that's a pretty good entry trigger for a short-term day trade here. We'll see what NVIDIA gives us here today. Now, let's go back to the news here, take a look at some insights from analysts. BlackRock maintains a pro-risk stance focused on U.S. equities and artificial intelligence theme underpinned by the belief that a cooling labor market will allow the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. They characterize the current economic backdrop as no hiring, no firing status, suggesting that labor market is softening enough to support rate cuts without deteriorating into a recession. We talked about that from Jeremy Siegel's comments yesterday. Despite the recent volatility in tech stocks driven by debt concerns, BlackRock views the capital-intensive phase of the AI build-out as a necessary step rather than a warning sign. Strong third-quarter earnings from dominant AI companies reinforce this conviction, and again, we got that yesterday with NVIDIA. Following the end of the U.S. government shutdown, BlackRock is prioritizing the analysis of backlogged economic data to confirm its thesis that the economic environment remains supportive of risk assets. Again, just another peek at some of the upcoming economic data that we can expect. September's U.S. employment report, unemployment rate, hourly wages, and initial jobless claims for the latest week will be out by 8:30 this morning. October's existing home sales and U.S. leading economic indicators are likely to be released by 10 a.m. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook will speak at 11, Fed President Austin Goolsbee at 1:40, and Philadelphia Fed President Anna Paulson will speak at 6:45. All right, now let's take a look at these NVIDIA earnings. Record revenue as Blackwell demand surges. Stop me if you've heard that before. Huang says AI is going everywhere. NVIDIA reported key financial results on Wednesday. They reported third-quarter revenue of $57 billion, which was up 62% year over year. The revenue total, beat a street consensus of $54.88 million. That is according to data from Benzinga Pro. The company reported earnings per share of $1.30, which beat the street estimate of $1.25. That's your double beat. This marked the 12th straight double beat quarter for NVIDIA, with revenue and earnings per share both topping analyst estimates. Revenue also hit a record in the quarter. Benzinga readers of the Ring the Bell newsletter correctly predicted that NVIDIA would beat earnings estimates. The poll found that 86.6% of respondents predicted NVIDIA would beat earnings with 127 votes. Readers have been successful recently with their predictions as NVIDIA beat marked readers, being correct 25 out of the last 26 earnings results they were pulled for this quarter. Data center segment revenue was a record in the quarter. Quote, Blackwell sales are off the charts and cloud GPUs are sold out, end quote. That came from NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. He goes on to say compute demand keeps accelerating and compounding across training and inference, each growing exponentially. NVIDIA is guiding for fourth quarter revenue to be in a range of $63.7 billion to $66.3 billion. The analyst estimates is currently $61.48 billion. Quote, we've entered a virtuous cycle of AI. The AI ecosystem is scaling fast with more foundation model makers, more AI startups across more industries and in more countries. AI is going everywhere, doing everything all at once. Wow. Now, it was impressive here that the Ring the Bell readers participated in a poll, but we have another cohort that I think personally did an even better job. A poll of Benzinga users during the PreMarket Playbook show on Wednesday morning saw traders predict a big move for NVIDIA earnings. 34% of viewers said they expect NVIDIA to move 5% or more after earnings, which was the leading vote getter. And for a period this morning, that looked to be correct. A move of 0 to 5% was the second most voted option at 30%. And that's where we currently sit now. Again, we'll see where we change, followed by 24% predicting a 5% drop or flat. NVIDIA stock declining 5% or more was the lowest vote total at 12%. So a big time shout out to you folks. First of all, we got better response on this poll, but also we gave you more options, which required more thought. And still, the majority of you folks got it right. So pat yourself on the back. I absolutely love this, and I really thank you guys for participating in some of these polls. I love them. I love then seeing them in the story the next day. That's fabulous. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep doing that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the call. Stop me if you've heard this before, because Dan Ives said it was the most bullish call. L.A. Arian calls chip makers' earnings a macro event, and analysts explode with optimism on NVIDIA. Leading analysts are beaming with optimism on NVIDIA and the broader AI trade following the company's strong third quarter performance on Wednesday. In an ex-post, Wedbush Securities analyst Dan Ives describes the quarter as, quote, a massive beat and raise, end quote, noting that NVIDIA lifted its January revenue outlook by $3 billion. He said the company's commentary made it clear the AI boom is still in the early innings, calling a report a major validation moment for the godfather of AI, Jensen and NVIDIA, end quote. He called it the most bullish NVIDIA call, pointing to surging demand for the company's Blackwell and upcoming Rubin chips. Now, before I go through the rest of this, there's another interesting part, and I can't remember who it was. It was either Big Hurt or Big Dave, or I can't remember who it was, but yesterday someone told the group that they were trading CoreWeave on the back of the NVIDIA earnings. Well, that's interesting, because one of the other things that we learned from this NVIDIA report that I thought was interesting was that the last generation chips are still being used and sold. And in fact, there's still demand from some of these older generation chips. So one of the bare thesis on this entire AI thing is that, hey, technology is expanding so fast, everyone and their mother can quote Moore's Law now, and these chips that people are spending all this money on are going to become obsolete quickly. CoreWeave told us that they're going to be able to use these chips for 6 to 7 years, and it looks like that got confirmed yesterday by NVIDIA. So some of the hyperscalers, the secondary trades on the back of NVIDIA, like Iron, CoreWeave, and NBIS, all reacted positively to this. And in fact, a lot of those are actually performing better here today than NVIDIA itself. So whoever came up with that yesterday, that was the call. It was one of our viewers here from the chat. I remember the CoreWeave mentioned and heard part of the call. Nice move, says Day Trader. Indeed. And I apologize here for not being able to cite exactly who that was. But come forward and be recognized, because that was a monster call. Your thesis got confirmed from Jensen. I'm assuming it's going to hold up here, and those stocks should be in play here today. Now, moving on. Oh, yes, don't forget APLD. You're right, Keith. And I'm sure there are some other stocks that I'm leaving out there. But the general thesis here is that, hey, even some of the older chips, still valuable, can still make money for some of the hyperscalers. That's what we learned. Now, moving on here, Ives also highlighted NVIDIA's swelling $500 billion backlog and building quickly into fiscal year 26. While dismissing concerns regarding an AI bubble, apparently this was a topic of conversation on the call, citing trillions of more demand that are on the horizon, according to Jensen Huang. Now, anyone that wants to go through any of these tweets, comments, and all of that other stuff, here is the link to this news story. You'll be able to link directly out to those posts. According to Ross Gerber of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management, if NVIDIA's earnings touch $650 per share in fiscal year 2027, which marks a 42% increase from its forecasted $457 per share this fiscal year, the stock could touch $292 per share at 45 times earnings. This marks a 56% upside for the stock from the current levels for the most valuable company in the world that already trades at a valuation of $4.53 trillion. Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster predicts that the stock will be up by 5 to 10% over the next week following its after-hours moves in response to the strong earnings performance. Munster attributes this to Huang's, quote, over-the-top and long-term bullish, end quote, views that the rate in the company's guidance for the January quarter, as well as the following fiscal year, both of which, he noted, were ahead of Wall Street's estimate consensus. He also sees the company's margins being maintained at current levels while volumes continue to grow and newer products get introduced as a win. Economist Mohamed El-Arian said that the company's stronger than expected performance and outlook, quote, reinforces the AI optimism that extends to the broader promise of productivity and growth, end quote. He also noted that the company's quarterly earnings release, quote, has arguably evolved from a corporate update to a full-blown macro event, end quote, which he said illustrates the rapid growth of AI's systematic importance for the markets, companies, and the economy. NVIDIA released its third quarter results. We talked about all of those numbers. It scores very high on the Benzinga Edge rankings, as we discussed yesterday, and that is not moving in the opposite direction. You can be sure of that. Now, there was another Citron post that kind of went under the radar yesterday. Let's talk about it. We'll see if there is a potential trade here. The title here, Trump just made the most important company in America. And this comes from Andrew Left of Citron. Andrew Left's Citron Research is calling out little-known nuclear contractor, which it says is about to become one of the most strategically significant companies in the United States under the Trump administration. On Wednesday, in a post on X, Citron called Virginia-headquartered Amentum Holdings, that's ticker AMTM on the NYSE, the most important company in America that nobody has ever heard of. I guess we should start off with who has heard of AMTM, traded it, and or owns it right now. Would be curious to see how accurate Andrew is with that. He goes on to say, pointing to recent policy moves that have elevated the firm to the center of the nation's nuclear strategy. According to Citron, Amentum manages 90% of America's nuclear infrastructure for the Department of Energy. The company is involved in overseeing nuclear weapons operation, radioactive waste cleanup, new reactor engineering, and defense nuclear facility management, among other things. Quote, this isn't a contractor, end quote. The post emphasized, goes on to say this is a keystone of the U.S. nuclear capability. Citron tied the company's fortunes to a sweeping shift in policy under President Trump, starting with a $1 billion Department of Energy loan for the 3 Mile Island restart and a May 2025 executive order mandating 400 gigawatts of nuclear power by 2050, which is 4 times today's levels. The post highlights that the Department of Energy's $250 billion loan program for the nuclear industry is already in place, with Amentum being, quote, the only company with the expertise, clearances, and relationships to execute it, end quote. Citron also framed nuclear energy as essential to powering America's AI infrastructure, citing the growing energy demands from AI data centers. The Post referred to Amentum's valuation trading at 10 times earnings as, quote, absurd, end quote, noting that it was well below industry peers trading at nearly twice that, despite what it described as superior margins, multi-decade visibility, and a monopoly position in the booming sector. Quote, the market will figure this out, it said, adding that the only question is when. So thought this was pretty interesting. Earlier this year, the Trump administration unveiled a series of executive orders and initiatives to quadruple the nation's nuclear energy output to 400 gigawatts by 2050. This move has since ignited a rally across nuclear-linked stocks in anticipation of significant long-term tailwinds. Amentum is a key beneficiary of this policy, with the stock up, I'm going to say this, with the stock up only 17.82% year to date. The company shares were up 17.12% on Wednesday, closing at $25.52, and were up 1.88% overnight. Now, as far as the Benzinga Edge rankings for this stock that nobody's ever heard of, it has an intact short, medium, and long-term trend and a high momentum score coming in at about 74.5. It doesn't really have a growth or quality score, and its value score at the moment is actually quite low. So let me know, has anyone heard of AMTM, Amentum? Do you trade it? Do you own it? Are you looking at this here today? Again, this was something that I missed during the session yesterday. This did have a huge pop midday. In fact, if you want, let's actually go back to Pro and take a look at the chart here real fast. Probably should have done that first. Here is AMTM. Look at the move yesterday on the back of the Citron tweet. Also, with the huge volume there. The move here, pretty awesome, takes us above a whole bunch of moving averages like the 200, the 20, the 50, and the 100, and actually trades up right into a resistance area at about $26. So we'll be watching this. They've got earnings in 4 days and a conference call coming up, so we'll see what happens. No position for me yet, but definitely something that I'm going to put on my watch list given where we are at now. Now, David's here, but I don't see your camera. Let me know if you're ready. If not, I actually really quickly want to cover Palo Alto anyway. So I think I've got some time to do this. Let me do this real quick. Let's take a look here at Palo Alto. They also reported first quarter financial results for fiscal 2026 after the market closed on Wednesday. They reported first quarter revenue of $2.47 billion, which beat analyst estimates of $2.46 billion. The company posted adjusted earnings of 93 cents per share for the first quarter, beating analyst estimates of 89 cents per share. Total revenue was up 16% year over year, and remaining performance obligations grew 24% year over year to $15.5 billion. The company said next generation security annual recurring revenue increased 29% year over year to $5.9 billion. Palo Alto announced it entered into a definitive agreement to acquire Chronosphere, a next-gen observability platform built to scale with AI. Let me just take a quick break here. I'm giving away my age, but anyone that played video games that is around my age, when I first read this story, I read this as Chrono Trigger, and I immediately went down a wave of nostalgia before snapping out of it. I'm just kind of wondering if that happened to anybody else. Anyway, Chronosphere is a next-gen observability platform built to scale with AI. The acquisition is expected to strengthen the company's ability to help organizations meet demand for unified data and security foundations. Quote, our strong start to the fiscal year was marked by excellent results across all metrics and significant platformatization wins. That came from Nikesh Arora, chairman and CEO of Palo Alto Networks. Quote, our robust innovation engine paired with strategic acquisitions of CyberArk and Chronosphere position us as data and security partners of choice in the AI era, end quote. Palo Alto ended the quarter with approximately $3.07 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Palo Alto expects fiscal second quarter revenue to be in the range of $2.57 to $2.59 billion versus the estimates of $2.57.5 billion. The company anticipates second quarter adjusted earnings between 93 and 95 cents per share versus estimates of the 93 cents per share. Palo Alto also raised its fiscal 2026 guidance. The company now expects full year revenue of $10.50 to $10.54 billion. That's up from the prior guide of $10.48 to $10.53. Analysts are expecting full year revenue of $10.51. The company also raised full-year adjusted earnings guidance from a range of $375 to $385 per share to a new range of $380 to $390 per share. This is versus the estimate of $381. Palo Alto also announced the retirement of Mary Pat McCarthy from the company's board effective January 23rd, 2026. Mark Goodburn has been appointed to the board to take McCarthy's place. Palo Alto executives also had a conference call. Palo Alto is actually trading lower here today on the back of those good earnings. Personally, from where I sit right now, I actually think Palo Alto might represent a pretty decent day trade here today, in particular, if the market continues to hold up. Let's take a look at the chart. Here's what we got. Palo Alto came in to the 100-day moving average at 198.75. Today, or after the print, I should say, in the pre-market here, we are trading lower by 2.73%. You will notice that the 200-day moving average is chilling right there at 192.55. If we take a look inside, what happened? Well, this actually overshot that. So in the after hours, we traded past the 200-day, recaptured it, traded back down towards it, lost it again, and here we are sitting above it. So Palo Alto beat, raise, although albeit small. We'll see if Palo Alto maybe closes the 2.7% gap that it currently looks at from yesterday's close, maybe even a red to green move. I would keep this one on your watch list here today. I don't know for sure if this is going to trade up, but this is another one that I'm going to be watching. We'll mark off those pre-market levels. We'll see if it breaks out or breaks down, and if we get a back test, that would actually be a pretty good entry trigger from that. So Palo Alto on deck here today. Would love to hear if you folks trade any of that. And frankly, look what happens when this stock comes into the 200. Okay. A lot of the times it comes into the 200 and tests it and it runs again. Sometimes it overshoots it and peaks below and it runs again. Sometimes it actually trades beneath it, closes multiple times, tests the next level down, and then rebounds and runs. And we've done this over and over again. So here we are now down back at the 200-day. We'll see where we close here today, see if we get an opportunity for this to go red-green here today. Just kind of looking at the arrows across the board here, everything seems to be up. There seems to be a lot of bullishness out there right now. And didn't we just get some data? Didn't we just get some data? I see S&P futures popping here now, up 1.5%. Here we go. U.S. non-farm payrolls for September, 119,000 versus the 53,000 estimate. U.S. average hourly earnings month over month for September, 0.2 versus the 0.3 estimate. U.S. unemployment rate for September, 4.4 versus the 4.3 estimate. Non-farm payrolls were revised from 22K to minus 4K. Initial jobless claims, 220 versus the 232 prior estimate. And average hourly earnings month over month for September prior revised from 0.3 to 0.4. This should benefit, or this should help the case for rate cuts, I would assume. Market is trading up here. S&P futures continuing to tick up here, actually backed off the high a little bit, but still higher than when we started. Okay. It is time for the Futures Fever segment. David, are you ready? Can you get your camera on? We will bring you on. We will get started. Producer, I'm actually really sorry here. I wondered if we had a, yep, yes, we do. All right, David, happy Thursday. Happy day after NVIDIA earnings day. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, good. The video, always the most important earnings in history, every quarter.
It sure seems like that. I actually just had a story here where Mohammed El-Arian called it a macro event. It's not even just an earnings report anymore. It is now a macro event. So tell me, let's just start right there. Let's start with, I know we do futures here. We focus a lot on that, and we are going to take a look at a lot of those futures tickers. But please, let's start with NVIDIA here today. What do the charts tell you, and what are you looking at here today?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great report, obviously. We're still substantially below our highs. I'm going to be curious, not only in NVIDIA, but the entire market, how much of these gains that we hold. Because we were, obviously, we had a big sell-off going into this for the last, 4 or 5 days coming into this. So, I don't know. Where are we now in the vid on the 5? Let's take a look. We are at 196. We made a high last night. Let's see, of 198.60. Yeah, we're kind of just sitting in nowhere's land right now. So, we're off the what are we? All-time high is 212. Let's see. I mean, I'm in wait and see mode. This is and again, Nvidia is something I've owned for years and years and years. I don't trade Nvidia, you own Nvidia. It's like Apple and
Yeah.
a bunch of the other stocks. I look for big dipsy doodles to get long. Let's see what happens. I mean, first target we have to get over is the high that we made, after the earnings came out, like 198.60. So that would be my first target that we'd have to get over to maybe start heading back towards new highs again.
David, let me ask you a question here. Given the earnings report, given the uber bullishness that seems to be out there, there's of course a whole slew of new price targets on Nvidia today post earnings. Do you think there is any chance that the market loses its footing a little, starts to slip, and Nvidia reverses like Palantir did, and then ends up going red? Do you think there's any chance of that? Laughter says everything, it seems.
I mean, there's always a chance, right? But we're just going to trade what they put in front of us like every other day. I can tell you if it does start slipping and going back down, obviously it's not going to be good for the overall market.
Exactly.
I would be on my hands as far as trading it today, or
okay.
Certainly for a little bit, right? Well, let's look for a couple of levels on the downside. We got a pivot point down at 192 and change. We got our previous week close at 190. We got our previous day high at 187, 186. So, I would say early morning, let's hold 194, 194.50. That is our 200 EMA. I would say that is my early morning line in the sand. If we can hold that, we build on that. If we can break down below that, we got lots of room to the downside. So that would be a level that I'm looking at early. And then again, we got to get above the double top we made last night, 198 and change. So that's what I would be looking at. Okay. Honestly, Nvidia used to be one of our biggest traders. I don't even look at it anymore to trade. I'll tell you why. The ATR in this stock has been like 40 or 50 cents during the day, right? So it's basically taken any trade that we want to do in this out of the equation. I don't want to be in a stock that has a 50-cent ATR. Guys, for those who don't know, the ATR is the average true range. Just adds up the last 14 5-minute candlesticks and tells us what the range is. So is it worth it for me to get into a stock that has a 50-cent ATR? My stop's going to be 50 cents and my profit target's going to be 50 cents. So not something we even look at the day trade, but it is, like you were saying, it's a gigantic barometer of the market.
And there's another, I highlighted another kind of relationship aspect here that really kind of ties into you not wanting to trade Nvidia on its own, just own it. I agree with you, by the way. I've been doing that with Apple. I've literally been practicing that myself. Wish I had done it with Nvidia, but that's another story. One of the other things that we learned from the report in the conference call is that these older generation chips are actually still very valuable. Not only are they valuable to the companies that bought them, but there's actually still demand for buying them. So the thought that these chips could last 6 or 7 years instead of being obsolete in maybe 2 or 3 years seems to be kind of coming true. And that has benefits for some of the hyperscalers like NBIS, CoreWeave, IREN, APLD, which is what I forgot earlier. So part of me thinks that you're onto something here. Just watch Nvidia for market sentiment, but there are some other stocks that you can probably get better alpha with trading on the back of this Nvidia news.
Yeah, no question about it. And those are a little more volatile. The
Absolutely.
And I was one I was looking at, and I've been looking at from gold. Just got a giant spike up here, guys and girls. Check this out. Wow. We spiked down gold to our 200 EMA, our 65 EMA at 40.68, and just went up 25 points in gold. Now, what is that telling us? I don't know, probably nothing. But usually when I see big buying in gold, it could mean a little pullback in the overall markets. We'll see what happens. Where do we want to short gold, guys? Anybody have anything? Up at 41.23 is a pivot point. Yeah, I'm leaving the MES out. I'll show everybody that in a couple of minutes. Usually after these numbers come out, Ryan, I'm kind of in the camp of just taking it easy and let things open market-wise. I'll stuff out that's wackadoodle. I mean, we will put out the gold, guys. If we spike up to our pivot point up at 41.23, that's up 25 points from here. We'll put a little bit of order out there. I want to look at the SPYs. I want to look at the the ESs, the S&P 500 futures. But let's look at the SPYs first for everybody. And let's go to a daily chart. Okay. And on our daily chart, guys, we actually broke a big level. This 65 EMA was down around 665. We went to 662. Okay, now we're at 670, right? So if we look now, I just want to see exactly what this is. Okay, our trend, our 15-minute trend is right around 672. So to me, that would be a very important level to get back over again. And look what happened, guys. We got to 672. We actually got to 672.99, and we backed off a little bit. So if we're looking just at the daily chart in SPY, it's constructive if we can stay above this 672 level. Because this was support. We broke it. Let's see if this becomes resistance now. So if we can clear the 672, okay, good. We get back into maybe the point where we're breaking above the trend lines again. This was our weekly chart, right? And our weekly chart, we had like 658, which was a level I was looking at. We haven't broken this trend in 6 months. And we didn't quite get to that 658 level. That would have been a gigantic support level. We missed it by like 4 points. So let's see, man. If we can hold this 672 range, okay, maybe we can build off that. But again, that's a big if. So we'll see what happens. So what we're watching based on that, guys, is the ES, the S&P 500 futures. Okay. So this is a 5-minute chart of the S&P 500 futures. For those of you who are not trading futures, I'm going to talk to you about something else we did today in Apex where we qualified an account in 2 minutes. We paid $37 for a eval account. And on Apex, when you're trading futures, $56, excuse me. On Apex, when you're trading futures, you can qualify the account in 1 day. So if you make $3,000 in an account in 1 day, it is qualified. You move on to a PA account. And with the sale they have right now, $40 lifetime fee for that PA account. So it cost us about $130 this morning, and we now have a live PA account. All right, so here's a current picture of the ESs. When this news came out, guys and girls, we had an order, and you can see it up here, our pivot point at 67.68. I mean, that would have been a 40-point move up there, and it missed it by a point. So we were looking to short it up there at 67.68, and I am still looking to short it if we get up at that 67.68 level. Okay. That is up 10 points from here. Now I'm looking to short it. We'll see how it gets there, how quickly or slowly it gets there. And you can see above that, we have a huge gap, right? I basically have nothing on my 5-minute chart up now 25 points from there. So this is when I want to go look now and see if I have anything in between the 65, 68. And right now, early, it looks like we're setting up for an early trend trade, right? So I want to get an order out there on a buy side if we happen to pull back. So my actual trend line is 67.50. It's only a 9-point move down and it's early. My 15 EMA is 67.46. That's a 13-point move down. And my 30 EMA is 67.42 and 67.41 is my 65 EMA. So we're going to put orders out conservative on the opening. If we spike down to both our 30 and our 65 EMA at 67.41, that would be down 19 points. Odds are, if we spike down 19 points, it'll hold those levels and we'll get a nice bounce up from there. So let's put that out. 67.41. Boom. Okay, so we got an order down here on a couple of our big support levels and an order up here on a big resistance level. What we have to do now is if we get above this 67.68 is my next level of resistance, right? So let's go right to a daily chart. Same thing. Let's see where we are. All right, look at this. Again, very big number coming up, guys. This 67.67 and 67.68, right? That is our 15 EMA on a daily chart. So that is a very big level. It's exactly the same as the SPYs, guys, if we look at it. We're testing what was support that may become resistance now. So again, if we can clear that 67.68, we could be off to the races in this. But we're going to take a shot, first time short, see if we can get a little pullback from there. Above that, let's look at different time frame charts, okay? We're not going to have anything. I know we're not going to have anything anyway because it's all the way up to that daily chart. So 2 things we're going to look at now. 1, if we get there fast, we'll look for a short. 2, If we get a short, we make a few points on it. If it can get above these levels, we have a ton of room to the upside. So I will be looking to get long. So what could be support could become resistance. So that is a very big number in the ESs and the SPYs on the way up. Let's take a little look at gold.
Before we take a look at gold,
sure.
can we check in with Peter and see how he's doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that. But really quickly before I do that, I just want to compliment you on your Rangers hat. I actually think that looks really good. You have a hell of a test today playing at Colorado. They're the best team in hockey.
Yep,
so good luck to you.
But we got a better chance on the road than at home. I can
That's
tell you
right.
that
And
now.
thankfully, Panarin shaved his head because he's on a heater now after he got rid of the flowing locks. So really good stuff.
Season.
You got that right. And it is a great season. Love hockey. All right, let's bring on Peter and see what he's seeing here today. Peter, happy Thursday morning. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. Hi, guys. Hey, Davey. What's up? How's everybody doing? So today, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. It's like you're in the room with us, but you're actually in a cab.
Yeah, I'm in the kids. Okay. Look, today's a really, really significant day, right? Obviously, look, everybody was sort of completely spooked out by the fact that Palantir earnings came out. They were blowout, and the stock sold down 8%. And then after that, they've started this whole
You must have hit the tunnel.
It's a bubble and all that spooked the market, which made no sense whatsoever. People DMs about the difference between what's going to happen. Palantir was so this and so that, and what's going to happen with NVIDIA when they come out with earnings. Everyone needs to understand there's an old adage on Wall Street called buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay, if you look at the graph, I can even send it to you. The graph of Palantir leading up to the earnings was 7 days in a row of up, trading till the high when they announced the earnings on November 3rd. And that's why it sold out 8%, not because AI is a friggin' bubble. If you look at the graph of NVIDIA trading into earnings, it was down for 2.5 weeks. Leading it, the earnings were blowout. Most important of last earnings, the biggest part of this earnings was the data centers. It's not anything else than that. They're talking this conspiracy shit, excuse my language, that is absolute insanity. So please, everybody has to understand this is normal Wall Street. If you lead up into the earnings 7 days in a row, hitting a record high, and you come out with blowout earnings, which and Palantir did, there's nowhere else to go, right? That except sell it, take. With all the uncertainty around the government opening and interest rates getting cut in December, and it's the end of the year, and it's 6 weeks left in November, and all that other stuff, and all these funds are a couple of them are closing down, a couple of them are closing their books down end of October, middle of November. These are the things that people need to understand. These are the components that make up how price action is discovered and to be. So the fact that Palantir sold off 8% on killer has nothing to do with the fact, that the planets didn't align and there's 3 aliens coming from Mars to attack the way it is. It was simple old Wall Street price action. When you lead up into earnings,
Peter, let me jump in here real quick. Let me jump in here real quick, because that was absolutely awesome. First of all, I'm going to make you extremely proud, because our group was literally saying that one of the big differences here is that NVIDIA has not run into earnings. And as a result, it's likely going to behave differently than some of the other names like Palantir. You should be extremely proud of this group, because we were already prepared for that. Now, on the aliens comment, let's see what happens when 3i Atlas gets a little bit closer. We'll go from there.
Well, look, it's funny. I've been recently acquainted with PreMarket and Kalshi, right, which is pretty wild. The predictability markets, right, which they claim are going to be bigger than the stock market. It turns out that on PreMarket, and they have the second coming of the Lord, and also aliens arriving and all this other stuff. It's amazing what people actually think of. It's like the people who actually believe that market makers are right, like Dave used to be, one of the best of, see their stop orders, take the stocks down, take them out on their stops, and then rally the stocks up. The internet is a scary, scary friggin' place. At the end of the day, NVIDIA came out with earnings that were spectacular. The data centers were huge. When you have a marketplace where you have Oracle, Google, Meta, Microsoft, each putting $600 billion, not million, $1 billion into data centers 5 years out, and you've got $12 trillion of CapEx spending going into it. We are in the second inning of an industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution of all time, and AI is that. And the fact that Palantir is a spectacular stock, is up 150% for the year, led into earnings up the way they did, okay, and sold off 8%, does not purport anything more than what it is. It's time to take a little profits. People have had so much profit in the tech sector this year that if anybody wants to like take their ball, leave the playground, close their fund, take some profits, go to St. Bart's for the holidays, whatever they want to do. You don't need to read conspiracy into the fact that earnings come out, blow out, and the market sells off a little bit. That literally, that whole mindset of this AI is a bubble stuff is literally what has spooked the market over the last 3 weeks. And that is insanity. So the fact that yesterday, NVIDIA, which had been smacked down for a number of days, came out with blowout earnings across the board. I mean, we're talking record, right? With the data centers being absolutely robust and that whole thing, which is still 5 years out, right, is amazing. And that's why the stock responded the way they did. And that, look, in my opinion, that's what's going to really set the stage for the rest of the year, which is 6 weeks left. The bottom line is there's a rumor out there that the chance of us not getting an interest rate cut in December has the same probability as me playing center for the New York Knicks 25-26 series. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that was really good too. Peter, really quick here from one of our viewers, Wiss here says, Ryan, tell Peter I loved his School of Hard Knocks interview. So there you go. Starting off with a compliment there. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if you play center for the Knicks, maybe we can get like a Willis Reed type performance out of you or something like that. We'll see.
I've got a great center court hook. At the end of the day, let David help you trade through this opening bell because there's nothing like it, Davey. I'll pass it back to you, buddy.
All right, will do. Let's bring David back on here. Boop. There you go, David. All right, Peter, do you want me to put you in back or do you want to stay on here? We'll check in with you when you get to the exchange.
Absolutely. Put me in the back. I'm fine.
All right, you're the best, Peter. You look warm in that scarf. I really want one. All right, thanks very much for the update, Peter. That is awesome. David, are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
So right, check this out, guys and girls. All right. Here's our chart of the ESs, guys and girls. So we hit that 68, came a little bit below it. There is our momentum trade to the upside. Remember, we were talking about how important this level was. And if we get above it, we have a ton of room to the upside. So our thinking went from being short at that level to being long if we get above that level. So that was 60, 68. It just paid us 4 points to the upside on that trade. 4 points on the upside. So this is what I talk about when I'm trading, about being adaptable. You know, what was resistance became a breakout to the upside. I'm sure the SPYs just did the same thing, right? We got the break above that. There we go. Check it out. Boom. We held that 672 level. We broke above. Now we are above all our trend lines for the moment in the spiders, in the ESs, on those daily charts. So my next resistance level in my SPYs now is up here at 675.65. That is up 2 points from here. So what am I thinking now, guys and girls? Okay, my thinking is I want to be long these things on pullbacks, right? Now, the ESs, look at our relative strength, guys. It is up around 76, 77. So it is getting a little stretched on the upside, okay? When RSI, what we're looking at RSI, ladies and gents, is if we get around that 80 level, it is telling us that we're a little extended to the upside. So this was a trade above there and gave us our 2 to 4 points. Now, you know, I'd rather wait for a nice pullback, which I'm sure we will get at some point, and get long. So right now, if I'm looking to get long on my trend, right, which is my 9 EMA and my 15 EMA. My 9 EMA is 56. My 15 EMA is 51. So for the opening, we're going to be conservative and get out on our 15 EMA, and we'll call it 67.52. Now, hopefully, and again, we don't trade on hope, technically, okay, if we get a pullback to one of our trend lines, it should hold and then bounce from there. So that's what we're looking for right now. Looking for pullbacks in these things to get involved, or if we get extremely stretched out on the upside, we will look for what we call far from moving average trade and then get involved. One of the things that we do here now, guys and girls, if you're not trading futures, guys, you absolutely 1 billion% should be trading futures. Low barrier to entry. We have had, I don't know, Scotty, where are we? I got my man Scotty to tell us where we are over the last 45 days. And this is all documented, guys and girls. It has been Trading has been really pretty good for us. How about 46 out of the last 47 days we have made money? We are green. That is documented, guys and girls. People who are in our private trading room are passing these accounts almost every day and taking payouts from Apex or whichever prop firm that they're trading at. So
Can I ask? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Right.
I was going to say, can I ask you about a stock here that came from one of our viewers?
Yeah, we're in chill land right now. We have a couple of orders out on the buy side and the sell side, so we're in chill land right now.
Okay,
hold on. Let me just check gold, guys.
This is a perfect time for this after you check gold. We'll do that here next.
All right, gold, guys. Let's go down to the double bottom at, what is this, 66? Straight down 10 points from here. Let's be a little patient in that modify. And then we go. I'm ready to go now. Go ahead, Brian.
All right. We had a question here from Sean saying, Ryan, would love some insight on AMD2. Broke down hard yesterday, but up big in the after hours in a sympathy play with NVIDIA. I guess there was a question mark there, so I'll just answer that question. Yes. We think that holds gains. So that's kind of what I want to get from you. And then if you could take a look at the chart and tell us what you think about particular levels, I think that would also be helpful here.
I mean, look what's happening already, right? We were up at last night, $239. We're down 9 points from there already. Let me just check NVIDIA and see if that's pulling back now too. And this was my concern this morning. Are we going to hold all these levels that we just did? Let's go to a daily chart. We just hit a pivot point in AMD. Let's see if we get a little bounce off this 230 level. But let's go to our daily. And again, this got smacked down with everything else, right? 267. We made a low yesterday of 219. 210 would be a great level for me to get involved in this. That would be down, 50 points, almost 20%. So that would be my next big level of support is around 210. Let's go weekly. Weekly, 204. So I got 210 and I got 204. Two levels I would be interested in getting involved on the long side.
Okay.
We're sitting right now, 221 is our 9 EMA on a weekly chart. Where are we? Yeah, okay. So those are my levels. 221, 210, 204. 221 I would love for a trade. That is our week check. So look at this one, guys and girls, okay? This is our weekly trend line, right? We had the big gap up on earnings. Normal pullback, right? If we get to 221, we're down, 40 points? Yeah, 15%. So that would be a big, big level for me. As far as trading is concerned today, well, we just got a nice bounce, little bounce. There it is. Check that out. This is what we look for, guys and girls. We went down from 233 to 230. We went down $3. The ATR is 80 cents. We just hit our pivot point at 230 and change, and it gave us an 80-cent trade. So technicals, man. Technicals. We just exactly bounced off our pivot point and gave me exactly what the ATR is for a trade to the upside. Now, if I'm trading AMD, right, to me, and again, first of all, it's expensive. $22,000 to buy 100 shares of AMD. You got to have a regular trading account, retail trading account. Or, if the market was open, you can day trade options, right? If this spiked down to 230 during the day, I can look to buy a 235 call, and you probably would have made the same amount percentage-wise on that bounce. So if we break that 230 level, then we got gaps down 227, 223, 223. So like we were talking about, just to wrap it up, Ryan, I'll be curious to see how much of these gains that we hold. If NVIDIA starts turning down from here, they're all going to start turning down.
Yeah, and that's a bottom line. Exactly. I'm in 100% agreement with you there. So Sean, let me add a little bit to what David just said there. I'm in complete agreement with him. I think his levels look fantastic for the potential trading. Now, do I think you're asking me to make a prediction? Do I think they hold gains? Well, here's the way I would look at that. This is definitely a situation where the rising tide lifts all boats, or if you prefer the beaten up analogy, the good boat raises all the shitty boats. Pardon my language. But in any case, is like David just said, I think that's really the key. As long as the market and NVIDIA cooperate here, I think you can take a look at AMD higher. But the other thing that's going on here, and shout out to 13 because he talked about these videos the last several days here. I'm going to link it for you here in the chat. This YouTube video done by Gamers Nexus is absolutely fantastic. And it does a really good job of breaking down the quote circular investment between these companies, what that might actually mean in the future going forward here. And one of the hypotheses from that video is that these folks realize that there's so much demand here that they're actually better off working with each other than competing with each other. Now, I don't know if this is going to end up being true, but if there's a temporary time where that is in fact what is happening, I think you can absolutely expect AMD higher, or at a minimum, AMD to trade with NVIDIA. You can kind of use that as a proxy. Sean, let me know if that was helpful for you and if that answered your question. And definitely check out that video. I know it's 23 minutes, but it's fantastic. There's good humor in it. It's very well done. And the guys are extremely sharp. That might help with your question and your thesis.
Yeah, and I mean, we've given up, 10 points in AMD from early this morning. But I could usually, this is not unusual, guys and girls. The NVIDIA earnings came out. Everybody got all excited. They ran in and bought the crap out of all these things. So
yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, David, can I do the movers here for 10 minutes or so?
Yep, as long as you need.
Perfect. It actually won't be long. I think we don't have a whole lot here today, but let me knock that out. We'll be right back here with futures, and we'll probably be done 10 minutes or so here. So, all right, let me go ahead and do this. We'll put David in the back for right now. 13, if you're out there, maybe you're getting coffee. If you want to hop on here and do the movers, that would be awesome. I'll get you on here right away. Sean says, very helpful. Thanks, Ryan and David. Fantastic. You are ready to go. All right, let me start here a little bit with the movers. Izzy, I did see your question on Amazon. Don't worry. We'll get to that. We'll ask David about Amazon when he gets back, and we'll determine whether or not that's bottomed based on the chart. Just sit tight. Let me start diving into some of the movers here. The first one here is going to be MNDR. This is Mobile Health Network. Now, we did have some news here. Mobile Health Network Solutions announced an MOU to acquire 2 AI-optimized data centers in Malaysia. Didn't realize there were data centers in Malaysia, and can invest up to $120 million via 3 million Class A shares to expand its AI health tech ecosystem. Let me go ahead and bring 13 on here. 13, good morning. You didn't miss anything. I'm starting here with MNDR, and I'm guessing that you covered it, and I hope you just saw it, but I just plugged that awesome Gamers Nexus video, which is fantastic and really kind of leads into our discussion here. But anyway, sorry.
No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, the video was great. Lots of great information on there. Kind of helped me navigate the weirdness of all this back and forth of these orders and investments with all within that same ecosystem. So very, very interesting to kind of help see through the tangle of web that is. But as far as the ones that I covered today, I realized I was covering one that really wasn't moving a whole lot at all, but it had a big move. The other one we already talked about in the chat here, the PAX that was taken off. That was a really good move. But let's go ahead and start with MNDR. We can cover that one together.
Okay, so there's some interesting stuff going on with MNDR here. So I just read you the news. As you can see, we popped up to 6. We bled a lot of the stuff back. We're actually beneath the view app. We're showing a bunch of weakness. And folks, I think this might be one of the reasons why. According to Marty, oh, for heaven's sakes. According to Crimp Biscuit, MNDR, TOS will not allow you to buy this. Jane confirms this, saying, I cannot buy MNDR with Schwab. So there is at least one big major broker out there that is not even allowing you to purchase the stock without calling the trade desk. Unsurprised to see this downside move in that situation. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you must. But here we are. We're seeing it again. Quick peek at the short interest on this name. 8.85% of the float shorted with 2.38 days to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 140,000 shares. There's nothing going on here. Today, it's traded 34 million shares. Float is under 1 million shares, so it could move here if you can buy it, but some of us can't. 13, any thoughts here? MNDR.
Yeah, I guess I kind of wonder what's the whole thing with the restriction on buying it. Is it based on the fact that this has a very low float, doesn't trade a whole lot?
Well, I can tell you that it's not the float because I trade plenty of low floats myself in TOS, which is linked to a Schwab account. I think that it has to do with the risk, perhaps where the stock comes from. The data here, or excuse me, the news here was that they acquired 2 AI optimized data centers in Malaysia, which I didn't know was a thing. So maybe there's just some trepidation about this being a bit shaky. Marben here confirming that Interactive Brokers allows you to buy this.
And that's not even a solid deal. That's a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah,
So they don't even.
That's correct.
You're getting this movement here because the float is so low. 834,000 shares in the float, and we traded almost 34 million today. As far as the financials go, this company does not make money. It does have revenue, so that's a good sign here. But they're going to need to raise some capital. It looks like they have about a little more than $1 million left in the bank, and they burn through more of that every quarter. So I think that this is going to be a little bit more of a risky one here, one that's going to see a potential capital raise maybe as early as today. And if they are trying to purchase this or try to acquire these AI optimized data centers, they're looking to invest 120 million. Yeah, they don't have that, so they're going to have to find out get that capital from somewhere. Now maybe there's some offering that has happened previously that hasn't shown up on balance sheets yet. I'm not sure if that's the case. I don't think it is because they just had earnings on the 31st. So if we don't see anything from that report, then they're probably going to have to raise capital. I think I'd be careful with this one. It is getting support from the 65 EMA. I'm not sure that's going to hold up. I would think this comes down even lower to maybe about 220. You might see some support, but that's just what I think could happen here. Maybe after the regular session opens, we see this get more of a lift. It is a very low float, so it can get pushed around pretty easily. But for now in the pre-market, I think this might end up just continuing to go sideways into the open.
Okay, and Dave here, Big Dave, saying that Fidelity cannot buy this either. Brian adding some color. The only time I've been restricted on toss, I called the desk. They said suspected fraud manipulation. So take that with a grain of salt. Keep it under your cap. Be careful if you end up trading this.
Great job, Uncle Dracula, for nailing this.
Yo, they're balling out in Transylvania, dude. It's almost not even fair. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's 6 a.m. I mean, you got to be up early, and now
I almost
Uncle
thought
Dracula,
you said 6, 7 a.m. and was about to lose it.
Nope.
Okay.
Come on.
David peppered everybody with 6, 7 already, so we have some people that are freaking out here. But I digress. Let's move on. The next one here is PAX, which you did cover, so I'll tee it up for you to use the golf analogy. PAX Group shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 sales results. You can see this popped us to about $24.50 yesterday. Now we are resolving and going higher here, still in the pre-market high here, just shy of $29. If we take a look at the short interest on this name, I do have some short interest, but I don't have a good float reading, thus I cannot calculate a percent short of float. We do have 3.14 million shares held short, and let's see if we've got a days to cover. Indeed, we have a days to cover of 5.28, so that is still high. Now, looking at the average volume, on average, it trades 1.21 million shares. Today, it's already traded 1.38 million shares. I will go see if I can try and get a float reading from Know the Float. 13 might have one. We shall see.
Yeah, according to my broker, this has 44.9 million shares. They just had earnings, which had mixed results, although the mixed results, the EPS was 1 penny underneath the estimate. So not really that big of a mixed result. What was great was that they had some really good guidance. They expect to make for the fiscal year 2025, 5.25 billion to 5.35 billion versus the estimate of 4.45 billion. I was mentioning this one in you were talking with David there, and this one has a gap that fills up around 29.20. I think it's like 29.20 and change. Like I think it's like 21 or 22, something like that. But if you go back to November of last year, the price did come down, and it actually gapped down at one point. And I think that's what we're focusing on for the gap fill. And we almost got up there with that last impulse candle that we had about 15, 20 minutes ago. That took us up to 28.90, so 30 cents away from that potential gap fill. It doesn't look like it's quite finished yet. If this can recapture the VWAP and start trading upwards again, I think we may end up getting that gap fill. But for now, we have started to come back in. We're just beneath the VWAP right now. So I would need to see a recapture of the VWAP before we can feel more confident about that gap being filled. But for now, great trade this morning. Hopefully some folks caught it. I think I saw some folks did catch it when that popped up. So congratulations to them. But this might not be finished. Let's just wait and see what happens into the open. It's looking a little weak right now. And if it does weaken into the open, we have that 65 EMA down there that I think could provide some support around 24.50.
Okay. Really good stuff. Moving on. Next one I have here is ticker MAGN. This is Magnera. The stock reported earnings here today. It looks like reported earlier. Magnera, reports fourth quarter 2025 results with 839 million in net sales, 10 million operating income, and a record 96 million cash from operations. Tell you what, all of that sounds good. This morning here, it also got moved to a buy from a hold at Vertical Research. Got to say, I haven't heard of them, but they are upgrading the stock. Quick peek at the short interest, 10.60% of the float shorted with 6 days to cover. That comes on an average 100-day volume of 693,000 shares. Today, we've traded over 2 million. Float here, just a stone's throw shy of 35 million. What do you think here, 13 post-earnings winner here, MAGM?
I am trying to understand exactly what this company does. It looks like they make some kind of paper or packaging product, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But it is in the paper and forest products segment. So that's kind of what I was thinking, that it could be that. It does have a little bit of short interest and short squeeze potential here, over 10%.
Also looks like they're in the feminine hygiene sector as well.
Gotcha. So, and 6 days to cover on that. So it is meeting some of the parameters of a short squeeze. Also, aside from that, we on the chart, you do have a bit of a trend line you can draw from the price action from yesterday and the price action from this morning. That'll give us an upside target to shoot for if this can recapture VWAP. As far as the cash goes, looks like they have some cash, and they don't burn through it as quickly as much as they have. So I think that they've got a decent runway based on this cash position. They have about, I'd say 10 quarters of cash runway. So that's pretty good. I don't know what else to make of this one. I didn't really cover this one. I was looking at some other ones that I probably shouldn't have because they, not really doing a whole lot. But as far as this one goes, I would say let's see if this can recapture the VWAP, and if it does, then we can look at that trend line that you just drew there as a potential spot it runs up to.
Okay, perfect. The next stock on the list I have here is CRWG. This is the 2X levered CoreWeave ETF, and it's actually very, very cheap. So if you think CoreWeave here is going to be a trade today, this might be the route to go. Nothing else to cover otherwise. Did you have anything else on your list?
I looked at CRNC, and unfortunately, I shouldn't have, because as I was going through this, I realized that this barely has any shares traded today.
Okay.
So I'll just go ahead and tell you what I know about it. They just had earnings. They have cash. They have revenue. They're almost profitable. They have a 16.57% of the float short with 6.3 days to cover. So that's the real big interesting part about it. But again, this thing has not really traded a whole lot this morning.
Okay. By the way, Exact Sciences is on our list here. Check this out. I know we've talked about this here before. Yesterday, we got news here on Abbott near potential acquisition of test company Exact Sciences. That was a Bloomberg report. It was in our news feed yesterday at 1:45 Eastern. Today, this morning, what happened? Yep, we got news. Abbott to acquire Exact Sciences, a leader in a large and fast-growing cancer segment. So there's no more trade going on here, but this is just prima facie evidence of how valuable Benzinga Pro can be. I know we spent time setting up that mergers and acquisitions feed. Here was the pop that we got yesterday. We got even more premium here today. Giddy up in case you had it. The only other mover on the list that I wanted to cover here is an oldie but a goodie. Safe and Green Holdings, ticker SGBX. This had a big run yesterday. Really, really good trade. Peaked in the after hours, bled back, but here we are getting jazzed up here in the pre-market. We are above yesterday's intraday high. I'd be watching the area here at 788, which was the after hours high from yesterday. Taking a quick look here at the short interest, I remember we had a recent share structure change here, so we're not getting an accurate percent of float reading, but it does have 1.42 million shares held short on 1 day to cover. And on average, the stock trades 6.2 million shares. Today, it's 5.7 million. We're easily going to get above that, and it's super low float. So anything you have here on our last stock, SGBX?
So it looks like this is going to find some resistance up towards 10. What is really nice about this price action we've got here is yesterday we managed to close for the first time since looks like July 2nd. The first time we've closed over the 50-day SMA after falling quite a ways. So what we want to see next is not only continue to close over the 50-day SMA, but I would also expect that we would back test that as support at some point. Okay. So that's going to be another thing to watch for. $10 does look like the spot where we could run into significant resistance. That was the That was resistance back in September when we were trying to get back above that level, and got rejected even further. We also have a potential silver cross that's setting up that we might end up seeing in probably December if this continues. I don't know that we'll see it next week. That would require a much larger move to the upside in order to get a silver cross next week. But something to keep in mind. That's another bullish signal. And then, of course, you have the RSI, which is getting a little bit extended. So that goes back to what I was saying about potentially back testing the 50-day SMA. I think this is getting a little bit extended. Probably could go a little bit higher first, but we are going to see some selling after it gets to a certain point in the RSI. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe 10 might be the spot where you start to see that selling.
Okay. 13, really good stuff. Really good breakdown. As a reminder here for the next 45 minutes, 13 will be here. He'll be in the chat. He'll be out there trading, focusing on trading and delivering that information to you. 13, really good stuff. I'll see you in a few.
All right. See you guys.
You are the best. 13. His departure leaves room for David. Let's bring David back on. All right, David, what happened in the time that we were gone? What do you got for us?
Not much, but we're still monitoring a bunch of stuff. All right, so we got gold. Gold just pulled back again down to those levels and bounced off that. We have a Fibonacci down at 40.68 in gold, so we have an order out down there. ESs, again, going to be curious to see how much of this rally that we've had held. We're sitting right on our early trend line. We do not do trend trades at 9 o'clock in the morning. We wait for things to open. So we have an order down here, guys, on our big A support level. And it tells me, right, all our moving averages, guys, all this information you see up here, okay, these are automatically put into our charts. It's a code. It's one button in any of our courses that set up your charts to look exactly like ours. So we are down here on our 30 EMA, all the way down here at 67.52. That would be a 10-point pullback on the opening. 67.50, actually. That is our level. Below that, we have our 65 EMA, which is 67.46. So those are the two levels I'm going to be looking at early on a pullback. And below that, we have our 200 EMA all the way down at 67.30. Our moving averages go in order of strength. The 9 and 15 are the weakest. We only use them to get into trend trades. And we don't do trend trades early in the morning because just because something opens up doesn't mean it's going to stay in that trend. Right. We let things settle in a little bit. 30 EMA is stronger, 65 EMA is stronger still, and the 200 EMA is the Great Wall of China. 99% of the time when something moves to our 200 EMA, we are going to be making a trade, and the odds of getting a reversal off that are very, very good. The further something moves to hit one of our levels, the better the odds increase that that trade is going to work. So all we're doing by using our technical analysis, and 46 out of the last 47 days we have been profitable, trading futures mostly. We're trying to put the odds in our favor of our trades working. When I'm looking in the ESs, I want at least a 10-point move to hit one of my moving averages to get into a trade. And right now, the ATR is like 7 points. So usually ATR and ESs is between 3 and 5 points. So we have a little more volatility going on today. No question about it. Gold, same thing, right? Gold, the ATR right now is 9 points. Usually gold's around 3 or 4 points. Well, maybe 5. So what we do in gold, and you have two choices when you're trading futures, guys. We can trade the minis or the micros, okay? If I'm trading the mini S&P 500 futures in the ESs, each point that this goes up is $50 per contract. So if I'm trading one contract and I make 2 points, I made $100. If you trade the micros, the MESs, each point that it goes up is only $5. So when we get these big giant ATRs, sometimes we'll go to the micros and just do 4 contracts instead of doing 1 and have the same risk amount that we're going to risk on every single trade that we do. So check this out, right? And again, I'm not doing this trade early in the morning because it's my rules, but we just bounced off our trend at 67.63. That was our early trend, and it gave us 5 points. So if you bought one ES contract, the minis, that is a $250 trade on one contract. Why didn't I do it? Because it's part of my rules. I don't do trend trades at 9:19 in the morning. We wait till the market opens. We let things settle in. Did it work? Yep. Do I care? Nope. Looking for the next trade. We do a lot of our trades based on Fibonacci's, guys and girls. Probably about 30% of all of our trades are done with Fibonacci's, which is retracement levels. Teach you how to do that too. In our brand new futures course, guys and girls, and it's wsgta.com. We have now added slow markets where we trade every Tuesday and Thursday night, 3.5 hours each Tuesday and Thursday night. This comes included in our cheapest course that we have in just our futures course. 7 hours of videos, lifetime mentorship every Thursday night. Tonight we have our mentorship meeting. We usually have between 150 and 200 people there every Thursday night. It is live with me and Peter. We go over trades, any problems that anybody's having, why aren't they doing as well as they should, what are they struggling with. It's really great. And that is wsgta.com, guys. And the course is only $299. And you get all that stuff with it. So if you want to jump into that, that's fine. A couple of things that we will do before we get out of here today. We'll give away some accounts, Ryan. I got 5 accounts that we can give away.
Perfect.
Everybody always looks forward to that. And I'll give you my email before we go. And trust me, this is worth more than any accounts we're going to give away. Anybody who is here joining us on Benzinga can come next week into the live trading room for 5 days. Doesn't cost anything. And you can watch us trade the markets live, and we'll do a lot of teaching during that week. Okay. That is my email, dgreen927@yahoo.com. And trust me when I tell you guys that that's worth more than a free account. We have had a ton of people from Benzinga come over, hang out with us for that week, become part of our family, starting to take profits from Apex and starting to get payouts. And I don't want this to make, guys, and Ryan will back me up on this. This is not easy. No trading is easy. Okay. But there's a method to our madness. All right. Everything is done for a reason. It's all based on technical analysis. But it's not that difficult. People make it more difficult than it is. All right, let's get to trading.
Okay, real quick here. I actually want to get to a check-in with Peter before we open.
Yeah,
but I want to answer, before I do that, I want to answer a really quick question. Nick here is asking, what's going on with DPro? Well, Nick, I'm very glad that you asked. Benzinga.
5 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Benzinga did an exclusive piece of news with DPro here. Dragonfly tells Benzinga it secures strategic international military order for the Commander 3XL drone systems. Dragonfly also said the order placed through a recognized defense contractor represents a significant milestone for Dragonfly, reinforcing the Commander's 3XL's position as its trusted multi-mission platform and government defense operations worldwide. You'll notice here real quick, and I'm going to shamelessly plug this. You'll notice that we actually gave you this information 30 minutes before the PR came out. How about that? How about that? If we take a look at the chart, especially the intraday chart where you can actually see the pre-market here, boy, wouldn't it have been good to have this a half an hour early? I kind of think so, huh? Up nearly another $1. How about that? Nick, really good question. What's going on here? There's some pretty good news that Benzinga brought you before anyone else. That's the answer. Have a nice day. Okay, let's go ahead and check in with Peter again. This time, let's see if he's in the cab or on the floor. Peter, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. Can we have me and David on the same? You only have one of us in the house.
No, you guys can both be on there, but David just told me he'd be back in 5 minutes, so he cut out on you.
All right, awesome. All right, so I just got down. It's kind of a nice look. Everybody yesterday was so anxious. I mean, literally there were people there from the morning talking about this friggin' Nvidia earnings, and it's amazing. In the old days, people used to get together for like the Grammy release, or or the Oscar release party and all that kind of stuff. And now people are actually there. Were over 1,000 Nvidia earnings release parties across the United States. That's how wild and crazy all eyes are on the stock market. It's a great thing for Benzinga, great for Apex, great for Wall Street Global, great for me and Dave and you. So that's amazing. But it's the fact that it's completely set. I mean, amazing how mainstream media completely. It was almost disrespectful to the new retail community how they decided to treat people that way, that they would think that after all that we've gone through over the last year, that some of the greatest performing stocks of our time, and the fact that we're in the middle of this incredible industrial revolution in AI, were to think that one simple situation, the Palantir sell-off after the earnings, sort of inferred by any stretch that AI was a bubble. I mean, that was the story. That was actually the number one trending story on Reddit across the internet, which is absolutely insane. You've never seen a sector, right? Think about this. The fact that I described that to you before, that Microsoft, Google, Oracle, all of those companies which are not in the AI sector have committed hundreds of billions of dollars to that sector, and that there's $12 trillion over the next 5 years that is being deployed by NVIDIA into the AI space, into data centers and all that. Look, it's going to be in every part of our lives. I just interviewed a robot on Wednesday, right? This is the Coid Crane Shares. It's an amazing company. They have an ETF, right? They are selling 200 robots a day. There will be over 1 billion robots by 2027 that are going to be completely part of our lives. So everyone's got to get on board with that. When you talk to younger people, they're afraid that AI is going to displace them in the workforce. That is not the case at all. There's going to be place for everybody in here. Just that is something that you're going to have to sort of get savvy with. Also, this ChatGPT thing is sort of a fascinating thing, how it's sort of infiltrated our lives. All that being said, market is opening up. It's up over 105 handles on the S&P 500. This is kind of sort of where they're going to release everybody really into the, the runway is clear now. This has been the one thing, I know that the government, has reopened, but we're not really sure about what's going on interest rate wise. We know that a lot of people have taken profits out of November. I think this is going to be, you're going to have a number of tranches come into the market now. The people who have been on the sidelines, who were stupid enough to sell when this AI story came out over the last 2 weeks, because you have realized trillions of dollars have been taken out of the market. We've seen some days where, the first days that we've had any kind of a sell-off that was more than a shallow one for the last 5-6 months, right? So everyone's going to be back on board buying. Those are going to be covering their shorts, guaranteed. They're going to be people who are saying, you know what, now this is the story that's going to run us into Dow 50,000 and S&P 7,000. I already printed up the hats. It's the runway is clear and we're off to the races. This is going to green light everything that people have been really struggling with for the last 3 weeks. The AI bubble, the whole thing about that Palantir and the tech sector and the Mag 7 are really not what they're all made up to be, and that the market is really struggling. We do know that there's economic data that's going to come in the way of the market in a little bit of a way, but at the end of the day, the government is going to probably cut. The Fed is going to cut rates. That's my gut, and then we're off to the races. 105 handle opening here is extraordinary. Just be careful. The market can move higher and higher more than we can stay solvent. So everybody to understand that. Also know that today's the kind of day with that kind of volatility that you've got to use your stop orders across the board. 3 minutes left.
Absolutely.
Pass it to Dave. He's the guy you want on while you're opening the market.
And really quickly, Peter, if you do get those Dow 50K hats, can you please grab one for me? I would love to have one. I would love that.
I got one right in the bag for you, buddy.
Perfect. Well, I'll make sure I'll get you my address, get that shipped out. That'd be absolutely incredible. All right. Really good stuff. David, are you there? You ready for the open? I saw his mouse moving, so I know he was there, but I guess he's not at the moment. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to leave him on here.
I'm here.
There he is. There he is. All right. Can you drive for about a minute and a half here?
I can drive for as long as you want me to.
BRB?
Yep. Oh, good. Okay, guys and girls. So here we are. Two things that we're looking at, and we're taking it nice and slow on the opening. Okay. Anthony, again, adjust to the micros because we have these big spreads in the ES and the gold. So ES, here's what we're looking at, guys and girls. We are being patient down to our 30 EMA on the opening, which is 67.53. Okay, 54 actually. So we have an order out down here. If we spike down 12 points on the opening, that is the order we have on the buy side. We have a fib up at 67.85 if we spike up 20 points. The only other order we have out, later Gator, is gold. We have an order out here down on this double bottom around 40.68. Going to take a chill pill. We're going to watch and see if the NVIDIA holds its gains here. Keeping an eye on that. AMD. Again, we had the beautiful bounce off this pivot point right there for AMD at 230. That just paid almost $2. So that was a nice early trade if you are stock trading. And let's see what the cat drags in a minute.
Cat dragged me in, David.
So again, guys and girls, if you are trading the futures, I suggest being on the micro contracts for the opening and taking it nice and slow. It has been a tremendous week. We are in our boot camp this week, right? Which means that we are going over our entire course live in real time as we are trading the markets. We do that once a month. So we have a big crowd in our private trading room today. No FOMO, awesome, guys and girls, okay? That's a tough thing to avoid sometimes, but patience, patience, patience. Don't do anything unless your technicals tell you to do anything. And we just relax for the opening and let them settle in. That's the name of that tune, baby. Again, we'll keep a close eye on the video, see if that holds its gains off the opening. Now, you can see, guys and girls, okay, this little box over here on the right, this is my opening range breakout. Okay, we put this up early in the morning, 9:30. It is a 5-minute opening range breakout. So at about 9:35, not until about 5 minutes, we'll look to see if we can break the bottom of the orb for a short or the top of the orb for a buy. But we're not looking for another 5 minutes. We will leave this 5-minute orb up till about 9:42, and then we will switch to the 15-minute orb, which we will leave up for the entire day. So very important. We get a lot of trades off this early in the morning, off the 5-minute and off the 15-minute. So now we're testing this little trend right around 60. And again, you see it bounced off that 60 level for 4 points. Not a trade I was going to do that early in the morning. Just not. It's going to be some trades that we miss. We miss a lot of trades. Sometimes we miss more trades than we actually get into. But if you look at that, guys and girls, we hit the 15 EMA and just went up 9 points. Pretty wackadoodle. So again,
NVIDIA first move here down out of the gate.
Take a look. Yeah. Okay. Spike down to 194. I'm interested at this 192.25. That's a pivot point. You know, that would be down $5 from where we are right now. Again, we could do the orb in stocks also, guys and girls. So you can keep an eye on that also. We're looking for a 5-minute break above or a 5-minute break below. So this works in stocks. It works in futures. It works in anything that you're looking at.
All right, there's NVIDIA. That dip looks like that was getting bought here a little bit. We've got bought right back up into the pre-market sideways channel. We'll see what end we break out of here.
Exactly. And that's what the orb helped us do.
Yep.
We'll see in another 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes now.
I love the thing that I like the most about this is just the patience. Just kind of forcing yourself to sit, wait for the kind of the craziness to settle out, and then make a decision. Yep. That's the way to go.
And waiting for something technical to set up. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
All right. So we're watching the ESs now. They're breaking up to the upside a little bit. Okay. So again, you know, the top of the orb is 75. The bottom of the orb is 61. That's a 14-point spread. Again, we'll give it a couple of minutes, see which way we decide to go from here. Yeah, we are never, ever, look, good traders should be bored most, if you're day trading, okay? Good traders should be bored most of the time. That's the bottom line. If you're doing 40, 50 trades a day, you're going to put the odds against you of those trades working.
Yeah, I agree with that. And David, that's actually been my real life experience too. My worst days are days that I overtrade, where I'm forcing stuff, where I'm trading out of boredom, not following a procedure, not following my levels. Those end up being the worst.
Yeah, and let's call a spade. That's not easy either, guys. You know, we walk in here. I have 100 people in a private trading room. Everyone wants a trade. Everyone wants what we're here for. But if you're not waiting for your technicals to set up, you're just setting yourself up for failure. That's the bottom line.
We did have PAX from one of our movers here. PAX just took the VWAP. It is trying to push higher here. We have a pre-market high up near 28.85. PAX now clearing that 26.5 VWAP level.
Okay, now NVIDIA getting smacked down, right? So we have a little level, 192.20 in NVIDIA. I'll put a marker out there, see if we can hold that level. It's down 50 cents from here. Let's see, just a little marker, guys and girls. And the reason I only put a marker out is because this is earnings, and God knows what could happen in this thing, right? Yeah. That is a level.
You can look across this NVIDIA pullback actually affecting some other stocks as well. as they continue to pull back. Also, really quickly here with NVIDIA, we had talked, check this out. We had talked a little bit about this opening range, right? We had talked about, let's see, do we break out from the breakout line on the top, or do we break down from the breakdown line at the bottom? And furthermore, do we get a back test? Look what NVIDIA did for you here today. Came down to that level, broke it, back tested it by trading back up, could not close above that, and ended up going lower. There was your confirmed short entry. We're down 2 points from that entry. Giddy up on NVIDIA out of the gate here, waiting for whichever direction.
Check out this chart, guys and girls, okay? The level was 192.20. We just got to 192.30 and bounced the dollar. We missed the bottom of the orb by 10 cents and went up a dollar. That's a spectacular trade, right? If we could have grabbed it at 192.20, now I don't care anymore. The first time something gets to one of our levels is going to be the best trade. All right, so now we got our 935 orb set up. All right, 935 orb set up. So what I'm looking for the next few minutes, okay, is a breakout above in the ESs or a pullback to. So we're going to look to get long now if we pull back to 67.61, which is the bottom of the orb. So let's put that out. And the MESs down 10 points from here. And in a couple of minutes, we'll switch to the 15-minute orb, and that's what we will leave up for the entire day. So the trade we're looking for right now is a pullback to the bottom of this orb at 67.61.
MAGN from our movers list, trying to recapture VWAP and go higher here. This curl looks pretty good. MAGN.
But guys and girls, this is what I'm talking about being patient and disciplined on your technicals. Look at NVIDIA. It just bounced $2 off that level. But we missed a trade by 10 cents. So imagine missing a trade by 10 cents and it goes up $2 in your face. You're going to be upset? Next trade.
That's why you don't chase. That's going to be even more in your face, Dave.
I mean, it didn't hit our level. So we are on cruise control. All right, ESs are coming in a bit. Let's see if we can spike down 7 points from here in the next couple of minutes. That is also a trend trade, right?
David, question here from you from one of the viewers here. Yeah. So you only use your orb box based on the first 5-minute candle? Question mark.
Correct. Yes, the first 5 minutes of the day. So in other words, this is still valid for a couple of minutes. If we break out the top, it would be a good trade. If we hit the bottom of the orb here, the support level, it would be a good buy. And we'll switch over to the 15-minute orb in about 5 minutes. So about 9:40, we'll switch over to the 15-minute orb. It's going to be different than this. And then the 15-minute orb, we will leave up the entire day. And if it sets up off that, great. We will make trades.
And we just came up with a new T-shirt idea here today. Don't chase or it's your face. David, we'll get you one of those when we get those printed up.
Now, what I would be looking for in NVIDIA, is a short if it gets to the top of the orb. That would be up 4 points from where we just were. So top of the orb is about 196. That would be my short level. Bottom of the orb, again, we missed it, but if it breaks that would also be a short level. We also have to take into consideration how far something is moved, right? I would not be in a hurry to short NVIDIA if we tested this again, because we went up $2 from there. If we went up 50 cents from there and then broke it, I'm interested in being short. But the fact that we just jumped up $2 from there, no.
Does that tell you that it might just be a little profit taking right around the open and jumping in short might be a bad move?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you shorted this anywhere in here, you're getting blown out of the water right now.
Yeah.
So yes, 100%. Now it's either going to be the top of the orb or maybe even try a double bottom if we get there real fast.
Okay.
Let's just check the futures without. Okay, here's the futures, guys and girls. We just broke the orb to the upside. It was about 67.74. Did it give us anything? Yeah, it gave us 1.5 points off that. So if we look at this breakout, right, we got 67.74. It gave us a quick 1.5 points. You'd probably still be in and hanging out. Not crazy about doing anything this early in the morning, though. We're going to chill out. I would rather be a buyer on pullbacks of the spiders and the ESs. So let's see if we can get a decent pullback here. And again, we're going to switch to the 15-minute orb in another minute or two. So guys, we have sitting here 10 minutes. We haven't even come close to making a trade yet. And that's what it's all about. What's AMD doing? Let's take a look.
MAGN real quick. This is trying to go. First resistance area is going to be 12. If you bought that on the VWAP cross there, that's going to be your first exit area or take gains area there. See if we end up getting that. David, you're looking at AMD here. Also had a request for Tesla.
Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. I like trading Tesla, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because the ATR is like $1.50. Okay, here's your opening range breakout in Tesla. It was 420.40, and it just paid you, 50 cents on a dollar. And the ATR is $1. So, broke out of the opening range in Tesla, gave you a little trade.
A lot of call sweeps on Tesla right out of the open here, too, helping driving it higher there.
Yeah. Gold orb breakout. Let's take a look. Yeah, it did. It gave you 1.5, and it's kind of just sitting there right now, Royal. So in another 2 minutes, we're going to switch to the 15-minute orb and see what we get from there. We haven't even gotten close to getting a trade set up yet. How about them apples? NVIDIA. In the video, we missed by 10 cents.
David, how about NBIS? Can you take a look at NBIS? Yes, this is one of the hyperscalers that should be benefiting from that NVIDIA print.
Yep. Yeah, and this got the absolute smackdown last few days, right? Let's go to the daily. Actually, it's been bounced up, but we got down to what, like $81 in this thing? Yeah, so big resistance up at 104. That's just a daily chart. All right, so again, now we're setting up, right? Bottom of the orb is 98. I would be long there. So Nimbus, I'm a buyer at 98 if we can spike back down to the bottom of that orb.
SGBX, this is halted to the upside. And breaking news from the producer here, stocks surge as one company does really well.
There we go. I love it.
Yep. And we got the best producers in the world, David. I'm telling you.
Oh, that's great. All right, we got a Fibonacci in the ES is at 67.83. Let's see where we are. Nah, we're still sitting in the range. All right, I think we got to switch over to our 15-minute orb now. Makes sense, Scotty?
And real quick here, Bharat, just to answer your question, Bharat's asking, are there unusual option activity on Google today? Bharat, here's all I got for Google. I have 4 unusual call trades, 1 unusual put trade. These are all trades that have at least 100 contracts or more. These are not very big bets. These range anywhere between 30K and 90K. With Google, we often see much bigger than that. I would say, looking at this chart here, based on what we have here, nothing actionable off this table.
Boom chakalaka. Okay, guys, in the ESs, MESs, we're going to put out an order at the bottom of the orb, which is 60.60. All right, let's pop that out there. That should be a support level if we can spike down there real fast. Let's see. Again, guys, take it easy. It's early, but we like that 60.60 level. Oops, what did I do? Oh, 67.60. This popped down.
MAGN rolled over back to the VWAP, did not quite get to 12, although got very, very close.
Okay, so all we have out now is the bottom of the orb here. We just got to 67.62 and bounced 6 points. All right, we'll leave it for a minute. We got our 30 EMA below that at 56, guys and girls. So let's see if we can spike back down to the bottom of the orb. Otherwise, we'll go down to 56. And that, again, just not a lot of freaking action going on right now. Kind of just sitting in futures land. So let's just check the video again. All right, getting a nice pop in the video. Kind of just sitting there, though. AMD. BMNR is one that I have my guys on, guys and girls. I have never been in this thing, and I am looking to start a position in it. And if I go to my weekly chart, my level is 27.30. So I will be a new investor in BMNR if we can get down to this 27.30 level. Again, I don't give financial advice, yada, 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 but it is a huge level on a chart down from $160. I am interested in that one. I missed the boat on all these things. Every single one. Bitcoin might be breaking the bottom of the range here. Could be setting up for a short if we break that to the downside. Gold, guys, what do we got in gold? Anything? Gold just paid nicely. Oh, no, it didn't, because we're on the 15-minute. But gold paid nicely out of the 5-minute orb, right, guys and girls? Yeah, that was a nice trade out of the 5-minute orb. Now, let's see if we can get above this 90 level. That's the 15-minute orb. Double top in gold, what is that? 40.96. Let's see. We'll see if we break out above here. 40.97. All right, I like it if we go fast. Let's put it up. Everything's starting to pick up a little bit here, guys and girls. So MESs are rallying. We might be getting.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good, right. No, go,
I was
go,
just
go.
going to say Palo Alto back testing the top end of that opening range that we talked about. That's about 197.5. We're trying to move above that here. I'm not in this, but if this comes back in a little bit more and holds there, I'll give it a shot.
Which one was that?
Palo Alto, PANW.
Pump. All right, yeah. I mean, we exactly hit the top of the orb. Trend trade is 197 and then 190. What do we got there? 197.60, 196.80. So I like it if we can get down to like 196.80 and then we got 195.60. Bottom line, guys and girls, there is not a hell of a whole lot going on. That is the bottom line. Bitcoin getting a nice little bounce off the lows. Yeah, trying to head back down. Nvidia. What are we doing? Oh, check this out, guys. Did we just miss this? Is that a good trade? Look at Nvidia hitting the top of the orb at 196, guys and girls. Just went down $2. Can anyone confirm if that was a good bar and it really traded up there?
I show it in TradingView here, David. Let me look in my broker.
Wow.
That bar exists in every place I'm looking.
Oh my God. So guys, we just talked about this, right?
Yeah,
Shorting the top of the orb.
Yeah, we did.
Shorting the top of the orb, it just spiked down $2. That's insane. So I would buy the bottom of the orb now and double bottom, if we got to that 192.25. But that is a technical masterpiece. It exactly hit that level almost to the penny. Yowza. That's crazy. That's why you put orders out. You never know when something's going to hit or it's not going to hit. All right. NVIDIA. Going to do a double bottom. We're going to test the bottom of the orb. This is so wackadoodle, NVIDIA, right?
Speaking of that NVIDIA move that you're talking about here, David, that's actually bringing some of the other hyperscalers in. APLD, although it's still higher by 7% here, this is coming in from the open. CoreWeave, CRWV doing the same thing here.
So we look for technical levels, right? CoreWeave 77.40, I would be all over that. And we do trade stocks, so I'm going to put some of these out there. You don't know what these things. CRWV. Where are we? That's not going to happen. We just bounced up, but 77.40 just to have something up. Gold just exploded out of the orb. And when I put markers out, guys and girls, I'll put out 10, 20 shares, and then if it gets there and it holds those levels, I will size up a bit. All right, gold. Gold, we're at 40.96 double top. Did we come close? We got to 40.93.60. All right, let's give gold one more minute here. I'm not crazy about the momentum up here, so let's just take a chill pill and relax. And the video just bounced $2 again. Wow. Wackadoodle-ski.
Our mover SGBX is open. That halted at 7.99, peaked above 8, immediately came back in on SGBX, still holding higher here.
Yes, about to break the orb to the upside. Okay.
And
look at the video. Almost did a double bottom again. Just went up $3 again.
NBIS bounced off the bottom end of the range there.
Let's check it out. ES is about to break the 15-minute orb. Cancel gold, guys. We didn't quite get there. There's your break of the orb in ES. It was 77, guys. 77.20. It just paid a point and 2 points. Boom, chaka-laka-laka. Gold, we got 41.02. Let's put it out. Guys, anybody getting these orb breakout trades for a point and 2? Talk to me.
I think Marcus is. Yes, it looks like Marcus is loving it. And actually, I thought Marcus was inviting me to golf, but it looks like he was inviting you to golf, David. So there you go.
And there you go, gold, guys. That just gave ES's, guys, break out of the orb. 67.77. Just paid you 5 points. ES, breakout of the orb. 5 points. Yes, when we see the breakout of the orb, we are buying with a market order. That is correct. Yes. So everybody could see, again, we were nice, patient, disciplined. We just had a beautiful breakout of the orb in ES that could have made your day. And we had a beautiful breakout of the orb in gold that could have made your day. 2 trades, done trading for the day. Now you take a chill pill and relax. Gold, we have a fib up at 41.02. We got that out there. Obviously, we're going to have to bring our bids up to get into the ESs on a pullback. So if we keep going up in ES, we might look at the top of this orb as support now, right? 67.86 is a resistance level in ES is 67.86, okay? And I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I say, what's going on? I say, hey, 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 hey. I said, hey. Oh, we're in gold at 401.90. Yowza. All right, let's try to get a point and a half out of that. I didn't even know we were in, guys. We could have just taken a point out of the trade.
NVIDIA tested the bottom end of the range that I had marked off again and is trying to resolve lower. 193 would be the level to break to the downside there. We'll see what this ends up doing. This is what I'm looking at on NVIDIA. Also, MAGN, which is one of our movers that we talked about. This went right through the VWAP again on the pullback. This trading back up towards 12. See if we can take it here. MAGN. I hit that first one, not in it the second time around.
Okay, gold blasted through our orb. Look at that gold on the freaking breakout of the orb. Everybody's micros, guys and girls. Micro, micro, micro. Period. Yes. And gold gave us a quick point pullback, guys, before it went back up again. Gave us a quick point pullback. So if we get a point and then you get a break even, take the trade. Yes, gold, we are going to be long on a retest of the orb now. That is 40.90. Let's pop that out. Talk about a breakout of the orb. Gold went up 15 points. That's insane. 40.90. Okay. Bump, 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 bump. ESs, where are we? Nowhere. Dead. ESs, we want to buy the bottom of the orb, but we're not even close to that. So let's take a chill pill. Bump, 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 bump. And
Iron kind of not doing anything. Man, I know Bitcoin sold off here this morning. Ethereum kind of followed it. That's not really doing a whole lot. Looks like we're still kind of in a waiting pattern, David.
Yeah, we're hanging. Guys and girls, if you traded the micros in gold, you did not lose a dime. It just pulled back to the break even. Okay. We were at 41.01. We have an 8-point stop in that. And it just pulled you back to break even. So anyone who's trading the gold in the micros should have been fine. Okay, Ryan, what'd you go with? I didn't hear.
No, I was going to say we've got 8 minutes left here, and it's kind of slow right now. So what do you think about those account giveaways right now? Does that work
do it,
for
man.
you?
We got 5.
All right, we got 5. So we're going to stick with today's theme, I think. And in order to give away these accounts,
anyone got anything else? Okay, ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm going to go ahead and select 5 people at random here. I would like you to queue up for this giveaway by entering 6-7 in the chat. 6-7 in the chat. When that gets look, David, we're out here with the zeitgeist. When we get that flooded in here, I'll go ahead and pick some. 6-7. The people that typed 5, LOL. That's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. Let's start selecting some of these. Here we go. Let's just start randomizing. All right. First one here. VJ, you are a winner. VJ Makadia, 1019. You are our first winner here today, boss. Producer, if you could please throw up those emails to email. I know
WSGA.com@gmail.com.
And we also want you to CC shows@benzinga.com so we can help stay on top of that. Okay, randomizing some more here. Bang. Hey, Richard Judge. David, you're going to love this. Richard Judge is also a Giants fan, and he is our second winner.
I would have picked him right away if I just
I
knew
know
that.
that's why I do it at random to give everybody a fair chance. But the Giants, the G-men, they're getting a winner here. Rich, if you are a winner, be sure to shoot that email off. Okay, randomizing again. Here we go. Marben 4207, you're our third winner here today. Marben 4207. Congrats. You are a winner. All right, the 67 flood is still going on. Next here, bang. Kimmy 369, you are a winner here today. Good day for Kimmy here. We got one more. That is our fourth. We got one more here. Boop, boop, boop. And it is going to be Scarlet H7, who typed 6767. I just clicked it at random, so that didn't help you at all. But you are our our fifth and final winner of the day. Producer, if you're available, please throw up that the emails on the screen. I know David reads them out, which is great. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Thank you very much. And it's also pinned in chat. If you were a winner, please email wsgta.com@gmail.com and ccshows@benzinga.com and include your YouTube handle. There you go. Congrats, everybody. We'll be
Beautiful,
doing it.
guys and girls. Congrats. Hopefully you'll get that free account. Buy our futures course and we'll be together forever. But even more importantly, Ryan, give everybody the email again because, guys, it'll be an unbelievable learning week for you guys. dgreen927@yahoo.com. Come hang out with us for the entire week.
All right. And you know what, Nick, you were right. Nick, have them hit the like before you give them anything for free. I forgot to do this, Nick, and that was stupid of me. David, I keep dropping the ball, man. I'm sorry about that. But I really do appreciate you giving out some of these accounts here for the group.
Pleasure,
it is
man.
always fun. So
we don't want to just give them out, though. We want people to get into these accounts, figure out what they're doing, and start taking money from these people.
That's right.
What we want.
Absolutely right. And David, we're not going to be together next week because of Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So enjoy your Thursday off. We're going to have you back the following week, of course. You got any big Thanksgiving plans?
Absolutely none.
That sounds good to me. You're going to be eating and watching football, buddy. Let's go.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having us. And guys, please don't forget Benzinga Pro, man. Best in the business. If you do not have that, you're doing yourselves a disservice.
Indeed. And I love this. Let's be good human. What an amazing handle. How can there be 500 people here and only 101 likes is the question. I would concur with Tara here. Please hit the like. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's be a good human. Thank you for being a good human. That is always important.
Love it.
All right, David, are you seeing anything here? I know the S&P futures pushing up to the highs here. NASDAQ futures at the highs. You got anything here on the way out?
No, we're just breaking up to the upside. I am looking to buy on pullbacks at the proper levels. Bottom line.
Okay, one more thing that I want to bring you regarding the NVIDIA earnings. This is actually something that 13 said yesterday in happy hour when we were watching the earnings live. Any stock that has mentioned NVIDIA in the past, like SoundHound, for example, is also trading higher on the back of this report. So remember, SoundHound here, they, I believe, stopped their business with NVIDIA, but nonetheless, we are still trading higher here. Nice little move for SOUN. That's something else to keep in mind throughout the course of the session here.
Beautiful.
David,
Everybody have a great, safe holiday, guys and girls.
Can I ask you for one request before you skip?
Of course.
Michael here is asking if you could please take a look at the Oracle chart, which is one that's involved here that we haven't looked at together.
Got it. All right, where are we? 229. Let's go right to the daily videotape. Yeah, again, this thing's been beaten since the earnings came out, right? All right, we're at a little level here. If we can clear this 229 strong, 229.50. If we're going to bop up from here, if we can get above this, we got room to 237. So we're at a key little level here. See if we can clear this 229.50 level. And we're a little bit above it. So if this market holds, I think we got room to 237 in Oracle. Again, we don't give financial advice, yada, yada, yada,
Of course, it's important to include all the legal mumbo jumbo, but also with Oracle here, this is actually doing a pretty good bounce off to 200 here, so might be good for a swing long here. All right, David, thank you very much, and of course, a thank you to Peter for all of his insight. Thank you for the free accounts. Enjoy your holiday. We'll catch up with you the week after.
Thank
all right,
you, Ryan. I'll see a bunch of you guys in the trading room next week. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. That is David Green, and that concludes our Futures Forward segment. Awesome stuff yet again here. David's departure paves the way for 13. Let's bring him on. 13, how are you doing, boss? Oh, there we go.
I'm better now because I can talk instead of type. I mean, I am just like fumbling over my keyboard right now, getting the right tickers.
That sounds like too much coffee to me.
No, it's not. All right, I'm ready to go now.
That was perfect. BBAI, by the way, also running up towards the highs here. Boom.
Yeah, those. Oh my God, look at that. So yeah, these NVIDIA adjacent plays are some of these are looking pretty good. I only have 2 trades today. It's been with the ones that we were looking at this morning. Not a whole lot of great movement in some of these names we were looking at. I tried MNDR. I didn't get much out of that one. I was also in. I was also in D-Pro. That was okay. Ooh. I didn't get a whole lot of that one either. Just it seems like the volume just really isn't there with a lot of these names.
Yeah. All I did was MAGN early on, and I haven't done anything since. So I'm with you on that, and it does seem like stuff kind of slowed down here.
Mm-hmm. Pretty quick, yeah. Okay, so CRNC, Kathy wants to take a look at. Let's look at
sure.
CRNC. This is up 43% and climbing. Trying to get over 1141. Let me look at this on my broker.
It's the next leg up here on CRNC.
Yeah, this is would this have earnings or something? It looks like it did.
Trading higher after they announced better than expected Q4 results. Also, Goldman Sachs maintained neutral and raised the price target from 10 to 11.
Yeah, so this is one that didn't lose as much money this time around, or compared to the estimate. There was an expectation of a 45-cent EPS loss, and they only lost 31 cents. So that tells you a lot about what their financials are like. It looks like they still have revenue, though, so that's good. You don't want to really hold on to companies that don't have revenue and are losing money.
Tesla's still screaming to the highs here.
Let's see, where is this going to go? So we are coming up to a little bit of a resistance area with CRNC. I think like 1180 could be a bit of a resistance area. But I also think that if we manage to get through that, we could end up seeing 1350. So I guess that's we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Let's see if we can get above 1180 first.
U.S. existing home sales for October 4.1 million versus the 4.08 million estimate. So a slight beat there.
Okay, and how are the housing stocks?
Just thinking the same thing. I default to Rocket, even though my position is closed. Rocket higher by just shy of 5%.
Now I think that was out of the gate too. We didn't get those out of the gate. I think we just
got them a second ago. So.
Let's see. I'm still kind of cycling through some of the movers here, unless there's something else that looks good. SGBX is still doing pretty well. Let's see what that's.
Yeah, it just set a new high and it came in a little bit. This is grinding higher, and actually the volume looks all right here. I don't know how much more is left, but it's been pretty good here so far.
It has been pretty good. It's I was looking at this one, trying to get over the 765 level. I was mentioning that we had that big move through it that turned into a halt. And then when we came out of it, that 675 area became support. So far, it's been holding up pretty well as support. Next area of resistance is going to be, if we manage to close above 830, it's going to be 880. That's the next big technical level that I have here for resistance. So we're making our way up there. Wiss is also mentioning that Hollow is waking up.
Hollow, YOLO, Jolo.
Hollow also had some, I think, some kind of thing with NVIDIA, or at least they mentioned it several times. So I think that's how they got tied to that. But Hollow seems to be one of those companies that just, will throw out the buzzwords, and every time they make a PR. So when quantum started getting big, they switched from AI to quantum.
That's right.
In their language. So don't know. I mean, trading vehicle, great investment, not touching.
Okay. Walmart here, this moving higher.
So how did their earnings go? Because they reported this morning, right?
Walmart, they were trading lower initially. They raised full year 26 revenue and adjusted EPS outlook, and it's also transferring its listing from the NYSE to the NASDAQ effective December 9th. Now, you asked about the actual print here. Let me go take a look at the revenue and sales number here. I don't have it on my note sheet. I had it earlier. I'm sorry about that. EPS of 62 cents beat the 60-cent estimate, and sales of 179.5 beat the 177.42 estimate. They had a guide from 252 to 262. They actually raised that to 258 to 263 versus the 261 estimate. So the estimate's still near the high end of the range, but they did raise that range a little bit. Walmart initially went lower and has since moved higher here, along with the broader market.
So we gapped up over the 50 and 20-day SMAs. We're still trading above them, but the resistance appears to be somewhere around 108 in that handle area, but it could still go higher. That's not where the all-time highs are. That's closer to 110. I think there are some folks looking for 110 in Walmart. They may end up getting that pretty soon. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow or next week, but it looks like the 110 is in the cards for the future.
Okay. NVIDIA back down at its VWAP. What's up?
Joe Schmo dreamt about NVIDIA last night. Now he's up.
There you go. If you can lucid dream your account being higher the next day, that's pretty amazing.
That's a
Joe.
superpower,
I
sir.
was going to say, let's go. Give it up for Joe.
Yeah, and his superpowers of dreams. I like that. Rocket Lab had a nice reversal off of the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. This is one of the ones I was keeping an eye on for reversal. Let's see if we can recapture VWAP. I also noticed that the marijuana ETF is also moving back up after having some downside for several days. MSOS now over it was over 315 a moment ago, right beneath it for the moment. What else is looking good here? Looks like geez, not this one again.
Which one?
WeShop.
Oh, We Shop, We Ride, We Pee. No
geez.
thanks.
This one, I don't know if anybody saw this one yesterday, but this was a Halt Fest mover that went up over 500%. I was getting asked about this in our happy hour chat, and I basically had to say, look, this is just one where it's either high risk, high reward. It can make your account, it can break your account. If you had bought toward the end of the day yesterday, you're hoping that this thing comes back up because this thing sank in the after hours. And it was just a completely this thing doesn't have a really large float either, so it can get moved around pretty easily. I would be very, very careful with this. I don't know that we get back above 200. Maybe we do trade up there, but just understand what this is and how this moves around. Look at what happened yesterday, just complete halt fest. Be very careful with this one if you feel compelled to trade it. WRD actually had news. We Ride, they had earnings. I think. No, that's in 4 days. They had earnings. The news was that they secured Switzerland's first driverless robotaxi permit. So
Olma's back on the scanner here. Look at Olma. This came all the way back into 20. Actually lost it yesterday. Big rip here on volume. I didn't see any news.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh yes, 13. Yes. Let it flow through you.
So there's maybe a trend line here with this. If you take the I don't know if I'm just kind of wishing that this is the case or not, but I was taking the high print on what was this Tuesday toward the end of the day, and I'm drawing it through the high of yesterday, and using that as a potential area where this current price action could run to, which would put it at about somewhere in the 25 to 26 area.
Yep, I've got that on here. I see it. I see what you mean about the wishful thinking thing, maybe, but we might as well plot it there and see how it goes.
And see if we get anything there, because I mean it's kind of a bit of a trend based off of the price action we were getting on Tuesday toward the end of the day that continued into Wednesday. So maybe we do get another run up into that this trend line and then back off like we did yesterday. So there potentially is a trade there.
A lot of these names slipping a little bit here. Market pulling off its highs. NBIS, CoreWeave, NVIDIA, Palo Alto, Apple, all pulling off the highs. Netflix back down beneath its 200.
Yep. Yeah, I have no positions in anything. Things are looking kind of weak out of the gate. RNC though, that's very nice.
PLTZ is popping. Let me check RGTZ as well. That's popping. Interesting. Do we get our reversal?
Let's take a look.
Yep, Tenzin. You know what, Tenzin? I'm going to give you a registering ring already. You did say not long ago that you were fading all of the pops. Shortly after that, you got it. He got that fade.
I think he was right on with that. It's kind of what I was seeing out of the gate here with a lot of these. The things that I expected to have some really big moves out of the gate didn't happen. And when they started to slow down and weaken, I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have any positions in anything right now. So that's where I'm at. I only had a couple small trades. They were okay, not great, but it's just slightly positive on the day is all. And I'm just going to wait and see what I get. Maybe I should just jump into RGTZ because that seems to be working. Don't bother me. I'm going to look at RGTI and take a look and see what we got here. I would still really like to see this get back up to 28. I just have this feeling that if it gets up to 28, that's probably going to be a very good reload zone. Okay. And we might see some really good downside after that.
And that might be your RGTZ entry.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at right now with RGTI. Let's see if it can get back up to 28, fill that slight gap that it made from Wednesday to Thursday last week, and then get rejected at the $28 level. That would to me be ideal.
Pan W did break down here, and Pan W going for its 200-day moving average. That's 192.5 on Pan W. It's at 192.88 right now. So big breakdown there. Boy, was not quick enough on that short. We'll see if it breaks down through the bottom there. 191-ish. Pan W here coming into its 200-day.
Pretty Panda. You've been trading Data Vault for the past week. It looks like it has been giving some good trades. A lot of opportunities to get in and out. I think what you're doing, and tell me if this is the case, but it looks like you're kind of using the 50-day SMA as a guide because it's been riding this moving average up since pretty much almost the entirety of the month. Ever since it came down here from October, it's been getting support from the 50-day SMA. If it opens beneath it, it comes back above it. Tell me if that's what you're looking at, because that seems like this is what it's using as a guide to rally. But we'll see what happens with the 20-day SMA, because we did get a rejection of that area on Monday. VELO. Let's see here. Velo 3D. Remember, I think we traded this one at 1.2, didn't we?
Yeah, this was a 3D printer, wasn't it? Let's see. Manufacturer.
Oh, yeah.
Also referred to as 3D printing. Yeah, we traded this one. We talked about DDD, Triple D. We also talked about SSYS at the same time. Velo, I think, was the last one that we most recently traded, 13. We might actually have some recent levels from that.
Probably on Monday when they had earnings is what I might guess. Maybe whatever day that was, they had earnings. Let me see here. Why is it giving me this information? Okay, there it is. Okay, so the short interest is a little bit elevated, but the days to cover is not. So I'm not really sure there's a short squeeze trade there. What is this coming up to? I would say that with Velo, if this manages to get over and close over the 20-day SMA, that 200-day SMA is going to be big resistance. That's been resistance for a while with this. It just provided resistance at the 20-day SMA last month on 2 occasions. So that's what I would be expecting at this stage for VLO. The 200-day SMA is probably going to be resistance, but if we manage to close above it, that might be a different story. We could see some more upside then. Oh, perfect. I'm glad that's really working out for you, Pretty Panda. Also,
are you saying that being a ghoul is working out for Pretty Panda?
No. The 50-day SMA. I didn't finish reading it. I just saw you're exactly right, and then I kept reading it. But
oh, that's funny. I saw you're exactly right. Eyes lit up. Then I kept reading. That's good. SoFi, by the way, possible breakthrough its intraday highs here.
All right. Well, you know what? RGTZ is still doing pretty well. We were getting above the 200 EMA on the 5-minute now.
Your little Pac B up near highs.
Hey, there we go. Let's see, where was that at? Oh no, Pac B. I thought that was PAX that we were looking at.
Well, PAX was the mover, but weren't you asking me about Pac B a number of times?
Shoot, was I?
Yeah, I think so. PAX is the mover here. That's not doing a whole lot. Basically, straddling its VWAP.
Oh no, I didn't have Pac B. I was
okay. I might be mixing it up with something else.
Yeah. PAX is the one I've been talking about today, and it already gave us It already gave us that really good move in the pre-market that almost filled the gap that we were looking at. Yeah, those movers just not looking too great. CRNC is still doing pretty well. It ran up to 12 here, so let's see if it can push higher. There's some sellers in the way at 12. So if it can get the volume to push through them, then this goes higher. Otherwise, we might get a rejection here at 12.
Barat saying it looks like Palantir wants to dump here. Palantir's down at its pre-market support area. It actually already lost the VWAP pretty good. Barat, I didn't check. I would have looked to go after PLTZ for the trade here just so I can do it to the long side. Didn't do it on the break of the VWAP. Didn't want to chase it. But looking at the chart and looking at the price action, I think I agree with you. I think this actually wants to break 170 and go lower here. Are you short this, Barat? And good morning, Born. It's great to see you here.
I wouldn't say it's just you, Brian. SGBX does look like it could be a little heavy. Glad to see that it ended up getting up to 880. Perfect. So 890 was the high print, but 880 was the next resistance area I was looking at. So far, no closes above it. We're actually getting a little bit of rejection here around the 880 area. So if this can't close above 880, then we might get a turnaround here. But if it does, then the next area of resistance I have is 975.
Whoa, what was that?
Sorry, that was just me shifting my chair.
Wow, that sounded like...
Well, I kind of moved my desk. I need to get a new desk. It's a little crappy thing.
Okay. Anything else that you see out here? SGBX still holding up there. Good stuff on the price target. IONZ, this is kind of moving with that. Oh boy, look at that Palantir, Barat. Palantir, it's flashing, breaking 170. PLTZ a little bit higher as well.
RGTZ over 26 now. We started down at 24. Well, it went down to 24 out of the gate. But we moved through 24, 25, and now we're in the 20s. We were in the 26 handle just a moment ago. We're getting a little pullback here. If this holds above the 200 EMA, then we should be able to go higher. Yeah, I'm 100 feet tall. Divide that by 20.
Thinking about it wants to know what you had for breakfast this morning.
Damn.
Coffee.
What do we think about Netflix?
Well, that lost its 200. That's what I think. And I think some of your lower targets that you had here, 13, might be coming into play. Let me go to the chart tool here. I'll bring it up as a visual aid.
Yeah, it's still looking like we might have a death cross coming. I think we're going to see the 100 prints. Yeah, remember when it was less than $11? I think that when I started, and Andy was really kind of giving us the hint about this. But I saw that throughout the day there was I think over multiple days. If you looked inside at smaller time frames, you could see a head and shoulders pattern forming, and I think that was the big signal to start to accumulate the RGTZ, and that was when it was under $10 still. Man, what a big drop it had from there. RGTZ still climbing.
Rigetti Spaghetti always giving us good trades. PLTZ also climbing. By the way, here's your Netflix chart. So not only did we lose the 200, but it actually looks like it wants to lose this near-term support level.
Shady Witty is mentioning Southern company. What's
98, really quickly here on Netflix. 98, probably your next target if it keeps breaking down.
So what are we looking at here with SO? Utility company losing the 200-day SMA earlier this month and unable to recapture, it looks like. So maybe this comes in a little bit more. I would think if this continues to weaken, it looks like somewhere around 84 to 85 might be your support area.
That was a typo. Good tech analysis there, but that was a typo.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. Let me refresh Pro here real quick.
Yeah, Jay, I'm on. Well, CMG is kind of in its own story, but I think when it comes to the splits, a lot of times we do see these trade lower initially before they find their footing and then end up going higher. And this is, we've talked about this with Tesla and Walmart and Apple. They all did that. CMG is has not recovered, obviously, but I think Netflix will probably follow more of the course of Apple and Walmart and the larger names, not so much those other ones like SMCI or DEC or CMG. SPG is X is still nice. There. Oh, look at that. We're still pushing higher. We're looking for that.
Pushing higher. This was a good one.
Looking for 975. Looking for 975. Well done, everybody that was trading that one. Probably should have gotten that one myself, but
I didn't do that one.
I was looking at other ones.
Yep, same.
Other stuff.
Same. That's just how it goes.
Oh my! Look at that! Look at that price action. So we had a little bit of weakness there coming back in, forming a bit of a flag. Now we have a new high, just barely. Still would like to see this continue up toward the trend line we just drew. That would put it about, I think we said 25 to 26. So let's see if we end up getting that here. We're going to need to see some more volume out of OMA if we get to get up to that trend line. Meanwhile, SGBX looking like it still wants 975. PAX sideways. A lot of these other names just not doing a whole lot. DPro lower. Bitcoin going lower. Thanks, Easy Java Man.
Bitcoin is also grinding lower slowly. This actually just recently set a new intraday low after trying to bounce off the first pull it had from the open.
I'm still thinking that we could see 85K by Thanksgiving. I mentioned that earlier this week. I still think that's a possibility.
That should make for great dinner conversation.
Sorry, I had some really weird thoughts in my head about what that conversation is going to look like, especially when I remember all the stories about how people were talking, to your point about how the conversation was going down, back when it was up at those highs, and then in 2022 it came down and was going lower, and how there was a lot of people having conversations about when you told me to get this, just a random thought there. Let's see if this can hold 90.
I had a conversation one Thanksgiving. This was the Thanksgiving after Bitcoin first ran to like 19K and then pulled all the way back to single digits, under 10,000. I mean, I had a conversation at Thanksgiving. I had told people that I had bought Bitcoin recently at like 6,000, and they're like, "Oh, I think at the time it was like 9,000 too." They're like, "Oh, you better sell it. You've got some gains. That thing's going to zero. That thing's going to zero. Thing's going to zero." I did not see them for Thanksgiving the next year. The following year, I saw them just before Thanksgiving. And I was like, "So how about that Bitcoin?" It was like 50K. So it's like, "How about that sell call you gave me? How about it?"
So are you going to show up in your BMW and be like, "How do you like my Bitcoin now?"
No, I'm not going to do that.
SGBX 52-week high, 122.88.
Yeah, Izzy, we actually did not talk about Amazon. David was rolling and he just went into a bunch of other futures there. Hopefully you got some good tires for your SUV there. I'm guessing winter tires, maybe, question mark. As far as Amazon goes here, I'll give you the recap. What happens at the 200? First of all, I think a 214 test is likely coming here. I would imagine it probably finds some support there. In an ideal world, it would peak beneath and then recapture the 200. So to me, sitting here 225, 226 right now, I'd like to see complete this move down to 214-ish personally.
Yeah, Catherine, I don't know that we're going to see that 52-week high in SGBX. Remember, the only reason we have such a wildly large number is because this did a reverse split back in August. It was a 1 for 64. So maybe it does go up there, but they're going to have to get some pretty good numbers in order to get to that price. We're still in the single digits, and we're talking triple digits here at the 52-week high. Shady Way was saying you're trying to type in the testimonial video. I could help but notice the cameo book. Am I a hunter? Oh,
because he had the Vortex hat on in that video.
Not really. I do like to go hunting, but as a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be doing that early next year with my financial advisor. So we'll see how that goes.
You go hunting with your financial advisor. That is awesome.
Yep. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he goes white-tailed deer hunting quite a bit, and the place that he takes the deer to get processed is not too far away from my house. So he gives me some venison.
Ooh.
So yeah, no deer mostly. See, when I was doing a lot of hunting, it was back in California, and it was on farm, doing varmints. That was fun because they're small. But anyway,
Oma, hey, 13. Look, Oma just new highs. It looks like it might test that trend line. Oma.
That'd be great.
OLMA.
No, I'm not goat hunting. I think that'd be quite bad. Anyway, CRNC trying to get a lift here over 12. We'll see if that ends up happening. Large seller on the way at 12. Rocket reversing. Olma, yeah, that'd be great if it hits the 25, 26 area. Meta to break the 100 SMA. No. Not gonna see. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that with Dick Cheney guy. Sorry, never mind. I'm all over the place right now. Just ignore me.
You are.
Ignore me. Like that.
No, don't ignore you.
That was some good coffee.
Tighten it. I was gonna say, like I said, I was saying earlier.
SGBX, that is now sinking beneath 880. This is really selling off here. This might actually have some kind of offering with the way this is moving.
Tesla might be trading back up towards the highs there as well. On Tesla,
I don't know why this is okay. So this is the SGBX is halting to the downside.
Your Wii shop also halted, this time to the upside.
Thinking about it, don't even go there. Yeah, he's not going to have an accent. We're very, very smart when it comes to firearms.
Have to be.
Yeah.
Day Trader says those dad jokes need some kind of warning. There will be no warning. I almost spit out my coffee. That's the goal. Would love for you to spit your coffee all over your monitors, preferably more than once. Just saying. Google, by the way, that back up towards the highs really cannot get above 305.5. Maybe 305 to 306 is your resistance area there on Google. Pac B continuing to run higher here, 208.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Enphase, the solar name, moving higher. NEE spiking here. I also saw Oklo on the scanner. Let's check in where that is. That's up by 1% here.
It's just a Kirkland brand producer.
Kirkland brand is good.
Yep. So Costco coffee.
Kirkland brand is good. By the way, Costco retook 900 after bouncing clean off your spot, 13.
Which one?
Costco.
Oh, reverse. Let's take a look at that.
Izzy's asking if we talked about D-Pro. Yes, we of course talked about D-Pro. Reason here is because shout out Benzinga News Desk team. I'm going to remind you every time that we see this because it's already paid for several subscriptions for folks that are in here. We did an exclusive news drop here on D-Pro. We had news out at 8 o'clock in the morning here regarding the order placed through a recognized defense contractor representing a significant milestone for Dragonfly, reinforcing the commander's 3XL's position as a trusted multi-mission platform in government defensive operations worldwide. We had that, again, 30 minutes prior to the PR, so this could have really helped you here. D-Pro ended up popping on that, went higher out of the open too. Now, we've since lost VWAP, but this is still holding higher here by 11%.
Yeah, WSHP, we covered that one too. Be very careful if you're going to trade with that one.
Yeah, that's a no touch for me. Yeah.
It can either make your account or break your account. I don't want it to break your all's account. So be careful if you're going to trade with that one. Regarding Costco, so that was a nice move off of the 875 area. Not sure that we're going to be in full recovery mode yet. The next thing that needs to happen, in my view, is we need to recapture 910.
Let's check in on NVIDIA. Okay, so NVIDIA's still under the VWAP, still under the lower end of the pre-market channel. We are making slightly higher lows on this chart, but still, I think there's some overwhelming weakness here. Maybe profit taking. Maybe I shouldn't say weakness after those earnings. Profit taking.
MAGN got support from its 65 EMA on the 5-minute. It's moving through some of the EMAs and trying to get back up to VWAP. Let's keep an eye on this for a recapture of VWAP. Because if
there you go.
We could potentially get a move through that trend line that we drew. You don't have the trend line on this one, but when we came out of the gate with MAGN, this went right up to that trend line, like right up to it. I don't see. Yeah, you have the print, don't you?
I don't have the trend line, but I see the prints here. Let me. Where was that from?
There was a big move that I have here on my broker that took this thing up to 1193 in the after hours yesterday, and then it went right back down to underneath 10, like around 950.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, so you got that. Yeah, so I just drew the trend line starting from there, going through the highs.
Okay, so no, I didn't actually have that touched. Interesting.
Okay, yeah. So my broker had it going up to 1250. What is the high there for you?
High on this candle here, I have that at 1250. So what's the high of your pre-market candle?
Let's see. This one is 1233.
I have 1272. That's the difference.
That must be it. Okay. In any event, that's the trend line that I'd be keeping an eye on for a breakthrough. If we can get MAGN to recapture VWAP and get back above 12. OLMA still hasn't broken down. We're hanging out here up around the highs of 2458. SGBX still halted to the downside. I think this is the second halt, so might be a little bit longer than 5 minutes because we did halt moments out of the gate. I think that's closer to 10 minutes out of the gate. We had a halt.
Iron here, this pushing up towards the highs, just shy of 54 here.
So MAGN now at VWAP. Rocket also at VWAP, it's trying to clear VWAP now.
Tesla more highs.
Jay Rice mentioning Jack in the Box and BBWI. WI, Bath and Body Works. So that gapped down. They had worse than expected. What's the thought here with BBAI? I'm sorry, BBWI. Do we fill the gap that it created this morning? Is kind of what I'd be wondering. That's a big gap. It's like about $4 below our gap. And then the other one you mentioned, Jack in the Box.
Cypher Mining went higher.
Jack in the Box, I actually had a level out here, 1681. Not sure what I have that out here for, but it was put it there for a reason, I think. Nope, that's not it. I don't know why I have that level out there, but we're coming up to it. It looks to me like this was I was marking this off as a potential support area. We since lost that, tried to recapture it once this month, didn't succeed after several days. So we're coming back up to it again. We're over the 20-day SMA right now. So, and this is all part of it. Looks like there's another trend line that I have drawn here. So if we can recapture 1681, that might be a good sign of a potential recapture of the 50-day SMA afterwards. I don't know.
Jack in the Box screaming out of the open. Soundhound, we also talked about this one earlier. More new highs for Soundhound. So it looks like some of the NVIDIA adjacent plays still having some strength, at least this one.
Any plays on Micron? Well, you know, this thing had really gone on to a big run up and probably just needs to cool off a little bit. We're now seeing potentially the third close underneath the 20-day SMA. If we get that, I think your support's going to be down around the 50-day SMA, close to 200. 200 looks like a good support area.
BRB 1 sec 13.
No problem. We'll see if that holds up. Do I think MSTR will ever turn around? Well, do you think Bitcoin will ever turn around? Because when that does, I think MSTR will as well, since that's been their whole thing. Now, I think I had this conversation in happy hour yesterday about where I think this might find some support that could see a turnaround. If you look in the last year, from about the beginning of March to the middle of October, there's a sideways area that the price bounced around for that during that year. I think in that sideways consolidation, you're going to get your support. I don't know exactly what that area is going to be. It could be, you know, around 135. I'm not sure, but I think in that consolidated area, you're going to find the support that sees the price action turn around and come back up. That's what I would expect. And this is also very, very oversold too. So we might even get some of that turnaround soon. But that's my thought on MSTR. I don't know exactly where this turns around. I could give you some levels, but I don't know how well they're going to hold EVTL up 7.5%. Any news? I see nothing. Let me see if I can find it for you.
News on what, 13?
EVTL, vertical aerospace, is he said it was up 7.5%, but now it's up over 8%. I see that yesterday there was a Schedule 13D. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. They also had okay, so is this spin launch? This is spin launch, isn't it?
Which one?
EVTL. This is the spin launch company that has the big turbine that gets a payload going really fast, and then they send it out of a tube at a really high speed, and then it gets up to a certain altitude, and then the booster rocket ignites. Is this the one that we're talking about here? Is this spin launch? It looks like it might be.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know.
That sounds like it would make me sick.
Well, I mean, if this is going to have people in it, then no, it's not spin launch. But it looks like this might be.
So here you go. Here's the homepage.
Okay, then I'm not right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think so, but this is just the VX4. So maybe they have another one that you're talking about.
Well, if you look up spin launch, then you'll see why I'm wrong about it. About the company being it. No, spin launch would not work.
Yeah,
for people.
this looks like a UK.
You'd be physics before you left the tube. I'm just saying.
I don't think spin launch would well for people. Yeah, I don't either.
So vertical aerospace. So this is just another eVTOL company. Looks like, and if we're getting some movement with Archer and Joby, then this is probably going to go with it. So Archer's up to 0.25%. Joby is up 4.5%. I don't know if they had any news. Looks like Joby doesn't today. I would think there's maybe some kind of a relationship trade happening here with EVTL. It's just kind of late to the party because the other two that I just mentioned were also getting a lift. But I agree. It doesn't seem like there's any news here for EVTL. Hold on a second. No, there might actually be. 1 second. Let me read this PR here.
SGBX might be at a possible bounce spot for anyone that's looking to trade that one. That's right here, about 760-ish. 760, 787. That was the pre-market high there. The after-hour high there. Izzy, the news on this is good, but they're investing $35 million. So that just goes to show you what they're doing with the money from the offering. But today, with the little bit of post-NVIDIA weakness, that pop getting sold a little bit does look like some of the other high-flying names were moving with it. Yeah, the news is good. A little bit weak today. I mean, what? Ondas is down 2.4%. Big deal. Okay,
so I think what the deal here with EVTL is that the Domhnall Slattery gentleman who was just appointed to the advisory board for Spin Launch is also the CEO and chairman. I'm sorry, the chairman of Vertical Aerospace, which is EVTL. So because he is getting that piece of news with him, that's the relationship to EVTL. The chairman of EVTL has just been appointed to the Spin Launch Advisory Board. I think that's the news here with this one that we're getting today. EVTL. So I think that's what it is. Is the bloodbath over? I don't know.
S&P futures look like they're trying to push higher here and set a new intraday high 13. So maybe at least so far.
Let me take a look at it because I was just trying to figure out this whole thing with EVTL. But I think that's the news: is that you have the chairman of EVTL just appointed to Space Launch Advisory Board. That's what I think it is. Anyway, let's look at the broader market here and see what we got. So we're climbing higher in the SPY. That was a really big move back over both those
it was
lower moving averages.
NVIDIA might be back into that pre-market channel. Let's see. NVIDIA actually looks like 192.75. Pretty good bottom there.
So I would think that this 20-day SMA and maybe even the 670, well, not 675, but this 20-day SMA is going to be an area of resistance that we would want to keep an eye on. How much volume have we had traded today? So that's not bad for just the first hour. I recall days not that long ago we barely even scratched 10 by within after the first hour. So we're up 24 million shares traded in the SPY. That's pretty good. Oh, come on, Cam. I am wrong sometimes. I'm never always right.
Nobody is.
I just try not to be wrong.
Well, I think your big thing from knowing you and being, I guess I would call myself impartial because I'm not you or part of your family. I think the big thing with you, 13, is that when you're wrong, you don't really stay wrong. I think that's something that we can all kind of go after. You're willing to learn from things that you're wrong about, which is not a trait that everybody has, and you do it quickly. And I think that benefits you in multiple areas of your life. At least that's what I've seen from knowing you all these years.
I appreciate that, and I think that's a pretty good assessment.
Yep.
I don't like to be wrong, so I won't. If I am wrong, then I have to recognize that I was, and then try to correct it. Even
first step in correcting that is realizing that you are in fact wrong.
I like that, Cam. Even I'm right about being wrong sometimes.
See?
I like it.
See?
SMDK, the only one down for you, Marty. Let's take a look at SMDK.
And then LFS here. Tom, you were asking what's going on with LFS. Looks like they had a PR here that they're reporting earnings. They reported earnings here. So this says that the the conference call is at November 3rd or November 20th, which is today. So we got this PR on November 13th. Looks like they did that here today. Don't have the actual print in here, but that's likely going on and pushing LFS up. It's another reason why you need Benzinga Pro, by the way.
Just kind of taking a look at some of these storage names, since mentioning that
new highs.
SNDK is down. Looks like MU was also down. Western Digital and STX, even though they're higher than yesterday's close, they also are selling off. But the hard drive names are still above the 20-day SMA. SanDisk is still trying to hold above it as well. Micron, I think, is the one that's beneath their 20, and they're trying to recapture it. So this, I think, at Micron is going to be leading the storage and volatile memory plays lower. And if they start to reverse, then I think so too will the other ones. So I think Micron might be leading that, because we can't, we don't have Samsung and SK Hynix, on exchange. I think they're just OTC.
They are. Samsung is. I think SK Hynix too, also just an OTC ticker.
Yeah, so I think the Micron's still going to be the more tradable one to watch when it comes to the memory names.
Google more strength here, even more. This is going to look like this is going to try and take out 305 and go higher here. Google. That's actually GOOGL, so beg your pardon.
What about AMD? AMD, I would prefer to see hold above 227. We did get some prints beneath it yesterday and also a close beneath it. That's okay. What I don't want to see happen is a loss of the 50-day SMA. That's what I would prefer not to have happen. But we still might end up getting that to go lower, which is okay too. I think the long-term prospects for a lot of these chip companies is going to be fantastic, and we're only getting started with this AI build out. I imagine as more power plants are brought online, we'll continue to see more demand for data centers. I know that we're planning a whole bunch of stuff out here in Texas, so I don't think this is going to be done.
I don't get that. I don't get that either. I definitely think this is going to continue. Pretty Panda, nice stuff on SGBX. That worked. Good stuff. We actually came back into the VWAP. We're trying to cross above it here. Maybe we get another bounce there. Tesla looks like that's slowed down, so the TSLL pump might be at least on hold here.
Wes, I don't think I'm really the best one to answer that question, because the digital asset treasury stocks are kind of like based on crypto, and I don't consider myself to be too great with crypto. Ryan, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the treasury stocks. I am eagerly awaiting a further down move here in Bitcoin, which would further me not wanting to kind of hold on to those treasury stocks. I would imagine they would continue to see some pain. I also don't have any thesis on a direct or on one of the stocks specifically because of what it does. I guess the one I'd be the most bullish on is BMNR. But for me, I would be waiting out all of the digital asset treasury stocks until Bitcoin really kind of puts a foot in or seems like it's going to turn bullish. I don't get that impression from Bitcoin, especially today. I mean, Bitcoin has a lot of weakness here today. So until that kind of changes on a more of a macro scale, Wiss, I'm probably avoiding all of those. But with the caveat, BMNR probably the one I would play, the one I would like the most.
I think I agree with that. Just watch what Bitcoin does. If it starts to turn bullish, then that might be the time.
13. Well, can you remind me again what your possible level was for? Did you say 86K? What was that?
Oh, I was looking at 85,000.
85. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's those levels then on the actual Bitcoin chart where I would maybe look then into some of the treasuries. I myself am just going to stick with the crypto itself. I want 75K. I would actually reload some of the crypto if we get down to 75K.
SGBX, when we opened, we came down and started printing underneath that 675 support area. It was previously resistance this morning. Now it's support. But we are turning back around, trying to recapture VWAP. If this cannot recapture VWAP, then I would be very, very concerned about that 675 level losing support. And if that happens, the 65 EMA is the next area beneath that could provide support, and that's down at 7.
One of our Bitcoin veterans here agreeing with us, but adding a little bit more specific color here. There are some exceptions like CYPH and those that are based on specific coins that are pumping, but that's only going to work if you know the meta. Love that you said know the meta. All right, 13, we actually have an all access here that we have to go to. So any closing words for the group?
Well, folks, maybe my coffee will continue to wind down and I can have a little bit more of a relaxed day, but kind of interesting movement that we're getting at here following NVIDIA's earnings. A lot of caution in the market. So I think that's going to be the stance I'm going to have today. I'm just going to be very, very cautious, not going to get myself into too many positions or too heavy into positions. Just kind of to see what the rest of the market's going to do and just be a little bit careful. I think that would be the best way to go. But until tomorrow, folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope the trades are juicy, and I will see you then. Take care.
All right, 13, good job. As always, we will see you on Happy Hour. And then again tomorrow to close out a week. But 13's departure leaves room for the father of the leech coin crypto that went to $100 and then all the way back down to a penny in less than an hour. Let's see why that happened. Here's Dan. Dan, what happened to your crypto?
It was actually $98 and then it went back down. We could get to that 100 barrier. It was just weak fundamentals, but we've gone back to the leech lab. We're on it. Everything's good. I'm back from Vegas. The dream is alive. I have to look up at you and those silly Chicago Bears. It's been years since I've had to look up to you, but I'm going to give you the praise. I'm going to give you the credit because the Bears, I don't know if they're for real, but they're something. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what, they're at least fun to watch. And that is a big step forward from last year. I still think the Lions are the cream of that crop in that division. So I will take your temporary looking up. I don't think it finishes that way.
Best division in football.
That's right. Absolutely. And that's why they play the games, right? Because what's on paper doesn't necessarily mean what is in reality. Dan, what do you have coming up for us on All Access here?
They also play to win the games. Great to see you, by the way. I do have my man, Kevin Kelly, the CEO of Cycurion. We're going to have lots of very fun discussion coming up next.
Okay, I'll get out of your way, and I'll be here for you to toss it back and end the stream. Take it away, Dan.
All right. Love you, my man. And hey, Zingers, and welcome to All Access. I've got a wonderful guest for you today. It is Kevin Kelly, the CEO of Cycurion. Their NASDAQ ticker is CYCU. He's joining us for an exclusive talk today. All Access starts right now. And it is my pleasure to welcome in the CEO of Cycurion, Kevin Kelly. Kevin, it's great to be with you today.
Great to see you again, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Hey, the pleasure and honor all mine, and it is wonderful to see you again. And I wanted to ask you this, Kevin. When it comes to protecting the private sector, government agencies and healthcare companies from cyber attacks, I know that Cycurion has some attributes that says it sets itself apart from its rivals. Can you tell us what a few of those are?
Well, absolutely. I think we touched upon this briefly last time, but we have a very unique AI-driven product, called the ARCS platform. And so what's very unique about the ARCS platform is, besides doing the web application firewall, the geogating, where we track down which country or which area it's coming from, the all the other bells and whistles that many technologies provide that are very common today in the cyber world. We have a very unique point in ours that we can pinpoint directly in the organization where the breach is occurring. So, for example, which is great for somebody to know, right? Historically, be like, hey, Dan, you have a breach, good luck. We're going to help you try to mitigate that breach. But we have to do a lot more diligence in terms of finding out where it is. We can pinpoint whether it's the finance function in Australia, whether it's the HR function in London. And as soon as that happens, it sends out a message, locks down and secures that company, but also sends a message out across the globe that the breach is happening at that time. And that's been well received. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, Kevin, it's such important stuff, and it really is fascinating what you guys are doing. And I know recently as well that the company partnered with state and local governments currently in Texas and Illinois near me here in Michigan with plans to expand into more states as part of your national growth strategy. Can you tell us more about those agreements and the growth plan for the company?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason we're excited about the ARCH platform that I mentioned before and what's happening in the state and local areas, we're broadening our scope of clients, right? We have a great partnership with groups like Central Square we touched upon. It's a Bain-backed company. They handle all the 911 calls, emergency EMTs, fire police department across all 50 states. We're working with them in 3 or 4 states now. It provides a huge opportunity to get us out there. And, again, we just started a few months ago with the launch of our ARCH platform. So that has been very well received. So expansion into all 50 states. Additionally, it's also getting us into the corporate side, given the government shutdown, given the DOGE implication or impact and the delays we saw there, which are quite frankly finally loosening up a bit. It made sense for us to branch out and get into the corporate space in healthcare, as you mentioned, in banking. And in, again, we're driving those products across these sectors as well.
Yeah, and on the healthcare angle, of course, healthcare, a very big market for Cycarion. Why is this a market in such need of cybersecurity and enhanced protections, Kevin?
Well, it's crazy. This came up the other day. Think of the fact that if all of a sudden a healthcare company illegally or illicitly got your health information, right? Or, a mortgage or bank got your healthcare information illegally. So they could then, Dan, possibly reject you from getting a mortgage because they're going to say, okay, let's look at his health history. And if there's an issue there, they're going to be like, well, we don't want to give him a loan or a mortgage because, he's going to pay his medical bills first, it's shocking, right, that this could actually happen. So protecting first and foremost, the R&D component of the healthcare, which, anytime they're issuing new drugs, new products and services for their patients, but the patient side of the equation is really critical as well, and that's an area that's been underserved, digital privacy for the individual part of the equation as well. And we have the ability to protect both, right? So again, it's a very robust, booming market. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad actors out there. And God forbid when we hit quantum computing, what's going to happen next. So.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Information can be out there, and obviously why what you guys are doing at Cycarion to protect it is such an important thing. I know that one of your customers in healthcare is the National Association of County and City Health Officials. That relationship recently expanded to include a cybersecurity education initiative. Why, did you guys decide to launch a 3-part webinar?
Yeah, well, it's a great opportunity. We had a conference where about 1,500 roughly of NACCHO's clientele across all 50 states plus attended. We asked the question, how many of you have been breached in the last year? Over 50%, they said they've been breached in some shape or form. The other 25% said they paid some sort of ransomware. So the SMEs are completely and utterly, I'd say not underserved completely, but they're an underserved marketplace where now companies like Cycarion are well placed, given our technology, to actually help these organizations that can't go to the larger cybersecurity firms because they're priced out of that market. So it's a great opportunity to help the underserved, and again, as you mentioned, in the healthcare arena as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I love looking into the future as we close out 2025 and head into 2026. Kevin, how is the new year shaping up for Cycarion, and what are the growth drivers, and what does the threat landscape look like right now?
Well, I'll start with the threat landscape, which, we talk frequently about. We have to be right 100% of the time, every day, 24/7. They have to be right just once, right, to get into your organization. So, so every day, whether it's Korea, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, they have hundreds of individuals. They start training them at 10 years old in a lot of these countries, and they move up to 18. Then they set them loose, right? So that's the type of thing we're dealing with. So it's only going to get worse. However, we are well positioned to go into 2026 because, as you've seen, we have over $80 million in backlog contracts that have been signed in the last 4 months. And that's going to carry us into 2026 and beyond, because a lot of these contracts are anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So we're excited about the recurring revenue stream that we're seeing with a lot of these contracts. So we're well positioned. We have a great base and foundation. We have great people with high security clearances to serve our clients. So yeah, we're very optimistic about our company going into 2026.
Future definitely bright. Lots of exciting things, as you mentioned, going on for security. Kevin, it's always an absolute pleasure talking with you. I want to thank you so much for your time, and nothing but the best going forward.
All right, likewise, Dan. Great to see you.
Pleasure and honor all mine. That was the CEO of Cycurion, Kevin Kelly. Their NASDAQ ticker is CYCU. And that is all for today, my fine citizens. I'm Dan Leach saying keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day, everybody.